In the 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. each weekday.
Here we go.
Live from LACC. Sweet Tea, Travis Rogers. Hit him in the face, Sliwa.
I'll still take the face.
Travis and Sliwa right now.
Yeah. Little Chris right there. We may be hearing from him a little bit later on today. He's out headed towards LACC, a little U.S. Open reconnaissance mission on his part. He's going to be doing some updates there once the tournament gets started tomorrow. Yeah. So maybe we'll get a little LACC from Morales later on in the show.
Will those updates sound different from the morning to a little bit later in the afternoon?
I think he'll keep his professional.
Weather is nice. Things going well.
It was finally nice yesterday. It's only June 14th, 13th.
Still yesterday. Chilly at night.
Perfect. Isn't that the perfect scenario?
By the way, can you imagine how people anywhere across the country are like, are these idiots complaining about the weather in Southern California? The answer is yes.
It's been 6 months of this. And also people in like other parts of the country.
If we have Emily in, from where you're
She's been converted.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel so much better if you're complaining about it too.
Like Virginia looked beautiful this weekend. It was my 5-year college reunion that people were going to, and I saw all these posts about it, and it was like beautifully sunny and 70 and gorgeous.
It's also my
Boston's
5-year
look great,
college.
all that good stuff.
It's going to be 100 here in 2 weeks, so everybody just chill out. Yes. It always comes.
And cloudy.
It will always. It's June gloom. We got 2 more weeks. It's going to be July. It will be hot, and then
won't even be 100. It'll be like 108.
I know. And then in October, we're going to be looking at each other like, is it really supposed to be 106 on October 14th? It'll be fine.
And don't worry, then we'll have El Nino this fall, and it'll be great.
We're going to get degrees, nothing but fires. It's going to be wonderful.
We should go on one of those days where it's like 107 in Pasadena. Go for a jog, you and I.
Go
right
up in
after
the hills.
Show.
Go run up through the hills.
Right after the show around 1:30. Just go get our
fry an egg on the sidewalk.
So I tried that as a kid in Phoenix. It kind of sort of works.
Kind of worked?
It kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, it will cook the egg if you leave it there long enough, but it's on the sidewalk, so it's not like you want to dip your toast in the yolk.
The popcorn bag in the car overnight or during the day.
That's the worst part, right? When you're and it happens here all the time.
Yeah.
You go to touch that steering wheel, or you get hit by the buckle on the seatbelt.
It's done.
And it's like touching the stove. It's.
I've been taking notes. I've been watching people's cars as it's gotten hotter and hotter here, and I've got a list now of things that I need to acquire in order to protect myself from burning my hands for my steering wheel.
For instance?
Like, people are putting those covers.
Oh, yeah.
And, the car's eyes, they'll put the covers on the windshield.
It's a lot of work.
I've seen blankets over the entire dashboard.
It's hitting the mirrors, and then you got to, you know what I mean?
And then I'll forget.
Yeah, just got to be careful, too.
Grab the steering wheel and burn my hand.
Yes.
I have a marketing idea for us, okay? So I've seen this on TikTok where people will put, those covers over the windshields, and it'll be like a famous paparazzi photo of people driving or whatever. So it'll be like
Han Solo and Chewbacca or
right,
something.
exactly. But I think what we should do is have you two take a picture driving, and someone in the passenger seat, someone in the driver's seat.
I want to be in the passenger seat.
No, you're driving because you drive the show.
I think it would look more awkward if I'm like filling up your entire.
But the Travis Lee All Stars going to put it on their cars.
I like
that
this.
idea.
This is a very good idea.
Have Slee holding the map.
Yep, in the back seat, right, upside down.
Trying to figure it out, upside down. Exactly right.
One elbow out.
How you feeling this morning now?
Feeling good. Yeah, feeling good. I was kind of looking at sports are getting a little. It's one day without the NBA. Still kind of figuring out what to do.
It's that time of year. Baseball is happening, but nothing is really
Baseball's
meaningful.
on.
Baseball, they're playing games. And look, I'm a baseball guy. I love baseball. But a Tuesday night game between the Dodgers and the White Sox on June 13th is, not exactly going to get you to jump up and down. It's fun, but football's still 3 months away. The NBA just ended. It's good.
Are
kind of a weird spot.
Are those the best games to go to?
Let
me use as an example. Like yesterday, a Tuesday against the White Sox. Some people might look at that and say, "Why the hell would I go to that game?"
Will Smith bobblehead night last night.
Isn't that kind of some of the best games to go to? You just kind of get in Dodger Stadium, you get out of Dodger Stadium.
First of all, the Dodgers always draw. There's never a night where there's like, hey, there's only 10,000 people.
Well, don't
here
have
tonight.
a bobble night.
They have 30,000 people there every single night. That's why they're the Dodgers. A better question is this. Have you ever, I'm not saying that you haven't gone to a baseball game and the game has been bad. That happens a lot.
Yeah.
Have you ever gone to a baseball game and after 2.5, 3 hours later go, well, that sucked? Never. right? You go out, you sit in the sun, or at night, you have a beer, you have some peanuts, you have a dog, you shoot the breeze with your buddies or your family or whatever it is. It's always a winning night. Even a bad game is still pretty fun.
Can't sell the team if you're in Oakland. It's great.
Yeah, that was interesting.
That's an interesting strategy there. I don't mind what they were trying to do yesterday in Oakland.
I don't mind it, but it's not going to change anything.
No, it's not going to change anything.
Like,
it's not going to work.
That's one of those howling at the moon. Like, I respect what
are they
did.
supposed to do?
There's nothing they can
I know.
do.
You would know.
There's
your
nothing
team
they
left,
can do.
so you can do the same thing.
I do have so for those who don't know, the A's did like a reverse, what is it? What was it exactly
Reverse
called?
boycott.
Reverse boycott. Which, did you guys even know that existed? I didn't know there was a...
I think they invented it yesterday.
Okay, I was going to say, I've never heard of that before.
They've been teasing it for a couple months.
So reverse boycott, instead of nobody coming, they drew some fans.
Almost 28,000.
Yeah.
Which is...
Good for them.
About 4 times what they typically, honestly, about 4 times what they typically
It's
get.
a huge accomplishment for them to draw 28,000, whatever it is. But as kind of, I'm watching that, and you see it on Twitter, first pitch, the place is buzzing. It kind of sounded like a playoff game. You just had no idea.
By Oakland A's standards, yes.
But you actually hear a crowd. And,
Yeah.
And even in any game that you go to, even if there's 50,000, they're not all standing up and cheering for first pitch. You got a 9-inning game here. You got plenty of time to cheer as the game progresses. But there is a little bit
they
of
did the silent reverse thing, too, where the first guy...
At the 5th inning or something like that?
Well, they did it in the 5th inning again, but the opening game, the guy that led off the game for the Rays gets a double down the left field line. And again, it's a road game, but usually there's a, it's something, goes, and then all of a sudden, guy gets to second base, timeout on the field, sell the team, sell. And it was dead quiet, and then all of a sudden you had this really loud, sell the team, sell the team. And the guy's like, I just got $1 billion from Vegas literally earlier today. I think I'm good.
That's like impressive coordination, though. That there's people that can. They're probably cheerleaders in the thing. Like, wait,
Wait for
here's
it.
where you go, and you go now.
I love the hustle. I love the effort, and it's going to accomplish jack squat. That's I keep coming back to that because Slee, you guys could have.
This is what I feel. This is what I feel so bad about because I get it, and this is just kind of the world that we live in. Vegas is actually the perfect example of a market. Vegas is the type of market, and this is Las Vegas. This is just what they do. You tell us what we need to do to bring the A's over, and we will do it. You tell us what we need to do to get an NBA franchise.
They'll do that.
We'll do it. But even the A's, I know you kind of...
They were lukewarm on the A's arrival.
Lukewarm?
At best.
But there is a vote that went through. There is the mayor there that's basically pushing this.
The mayor is a fan. But
you get that combination, it's going to happen.
Yeah, but they were basically selling their firstborn kids to get the Raiders and to get the Knights and to do all these things. The A's are like, I guess. I mean, sure. If you guys can figure out the money. I mean, if you want to be here, we're not going to say no, but it's kind of up to you. It was fairly tepid enthusiasm.
To do in the state of California to get any of this stuff passed through, you basically need Kroenke or Ballmer.
Yeah.
You need, I have more money.
I'll
pay for everything. I don't even need any state funding, whatever it is, or city funding or whatever it is. And, they've been there for, I think, since the late 60s or something like that. How long they've been there? I hate to see it. I really do hate to see it.
Oh, I hate to see them leave, but you tell me, because you have had, I shouldn't, the Raiders and the Rams both left here in 1994.
Yeah.
But it was a little bit different because when the Raiders and Rams left, sure, it sucked and there was no NFL football, but you had USC, you had UCLA, you had the Dodgers, you had the Angels, you had the Kings, you had all these other things, the Lakers, the Clippers. There are just so many other sports things. It's like, yeah, I'd love to keep the Rams and the Raiders, but all right, fine. We're not going to build you a stadium. I'm not going to spend my tax. They let them leave. There wasn't a ton of pushback. In San Diego, with your Chargers, the people in San Diego wanted the Chargers to stay, and they organized to try to get them to stay. Now, they didn't vote to keep them to stay, which I respect, but they really wanted to keep that team. Once they've decided to leave, there is no stopping anybody.
So this is the problem. The problem is, use as an example, in San Diego, the city voted. The county did not vote. Who are the San Diegans? It's the county.
Yeah.
It's people that live outside of the city.
Yeah.
Those are the actual San Diegans. Those are the actual people in Los Angeles. You don't go to Hollywood and say, these people are born and raised in Los Angeles.
Right.
That's just not how it works.
Right.
But I use that as an example. The other part of it is you could have owners make it very, very difficult. in the case of Dean Spanos, you had all this land in Mission Valley. And he purposely was trying to get it in downtown where there's
no place
land
to put it.
So, but it
build
was
an island in Coronado Bay.
But it's a perfect strategy to say, "Hey, look, they voted, and they wanted us to leave."
These guys know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing.
When they want to go, the A's have done exactly this. The A's put a product on the field that was so wretched. The A's won 97 games 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. Okay, this isn't ancient history. It's 4 years
That's
ago.
right.
They won 97 games. And they said, you know what? They literally got rid of every single person of value on that team. They stripped it down to the studs. They're going, despite the fact that they've won 7 in a game, they're going to lose 110, 115 games, be one of the worst teams in the history of baseball. Why would I go spend my money to see that? And it's done on purpose, with intent, so they can say, look, nobody's coming to the game. Yep. The ballpark experience, have you ever been to that place?
No.
To call it a dump doesn't even begin to cover what that thing is. Didn't you drive up there after a while, Taylor, to see a game recently?
I was there last year.
Last year?
Yeah, it was
sleek. Qualcomm looks like SoFi compared to Oakland Coliseum. It literally, the whole place smells like urine. The food is completely forgettable. It's dilapidated.
They don't sell food.
They have the toilets routine. It's kind of gross, but I'm not making this up. The toilets routinely back up to where the concourses are flooded with waste.
That's not good.
It's just, it is a disaster.
It
is an absolute disaster.
What's the price
just
of beer?
Bad. There's nobody there. They could be giving away for free.
Their problem is, and I'll go back to one thing we said on the San Diego thing. I guarantee you if they can all go back again, they'd put that stadium in downtown. They'd have found a way to put that stadium in. The impact
of...
The
fans you're talking about?
Yeah. The impact of not having the Chargers there versus having them there, I guarantee if you went back and you said, let's do it all over again, they'd have basically told Dean's dumbass, because I will use it that way, whatever the hell you want, let's just keep the team here. The problem in Oakland, the Warriors moved to San Francisco, the Raiders go to Vegas, and now you're going to lose the A's.
Yeah.
In a freaking 5-year period, everything's
gone. Everything's gone.
So,
and you've got some stuff in Santa Clara. You got the Sharks. You've got the Niners. You got the Giants over in the. But you got the Warriors on the other side. It's like having nothing in LA and you got 2 or 3 things in Anaheim, or flip it around the other way.
Yeah,
it's not ideal. And 27,000 people got fired up last night for a reverse boycott. And tonight, if they have another game, they'll be down to 4,000.
Is that so? Is the reverse boycott only? It's
one
game?
One night. It's a one night event. It's like a one-off show. It's like a concert that comes to town for one single night. There is a very, very well-known NBA player that may or may not be on the trade block. How many red flags do you have to see before you say, nah, not interested? That's coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN. You can make a fast break to FanDuel during the NBA playoffs because right now new customers can get a no-sweat first bet up to $2,500. Visit FanDuel.com/play and get a no-sweat first bet up to $2,500. FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 plus and present in Arizona, Connecticut, Iowa, Illinois, Louisiana. Permitted parish.
that begins 9 hours of LA sports talk all day long. Each weekday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. This is Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
So today is a Ask Taylor Day for our Ask Slee segment. So if you got questions for Taylor, go ahead and send them to me at Travis Rogers. Send them to Al at Alan Sliwa. Emily, of course, is a willing participant at Emily Hebel if you want to send them there. So any questions? I got a couple of Kings, a couple of music, a couple of celebrity questions for you, Taylor, so far. But if you got those, go ahead and send
your
them in.
worst.
877-710-ESPN2 if you would like to call and do that.
A lot of windshield cover.
There's some good options.
Windshield cover
You
chat.
can't just have one. You got to have options. You got to have a variety of choices for your windshield cover du jour. I think probably don't need it today. It's probably supposed to be about 68 again today.
No, I think we're okay.
You can do the fake crooner thing from I Think You Should Leave or whatever.
What's it called? Is it not the fake crooner? What is it? The driving crooner. Have you watched the latest season of that show yet, Slee?
No, I haven't.
So weird.
It's a ridiculous show.
It's so bizarre and strange, and half of the skits and look.
What's his name again?
Tim Robinson.
Yeah.
Let me just put it out there. I'm a huge fan of the show. Half the skits are stupid. They're not funny, or at least they're not funny to me. But the half that are funny are so good.
Okay.
They're so
Can
amazing.
I let me say, it's the first time that I watched that show, and I've only seen. It might have just been the first season. Like, it was a couple years ago.
Was it the hot dog thing?
And it just came out. It was like one of them was where he's in an interview at a coffee shop.
It's my favorite one. It's my favorite. Where he's opening the door the wrong way.
And the guy's like, "No, I think
you push.
I think it's you push."
No,
He
No, I was here yesterday.
I was here yesterday. And he pulls the door. He's pulling so hard.
Okay.
He pulls it off the hinges.
Listen, I didn't even know who Tim Robinson was.
He was on SNL for a second, yeah.
I didn't have that much
very
knowledge
short
on
second.
it. For that to be the first scene that I saw, I'm like,
Incredible.
what the hell is this? He's really good, but I haven't seen it now in a while.
My favorite from this season, by far, is the pay it forward drive-through thing. Okay, so here's the situation. So for those who haven't seen it, so he goes to the drive-through and he orders like a coffee and like a French fry, and then he's like, "Hey, you know what? I'm gonna order for the guy behind me. Maybe it'll start something." And then he pulls forward, races around this thing. It's like, no, and someone tries to pull into the drive-thru, and it's like, no, wait, I have to do something. And then he gets to the mic, and he goes, 55 hot dogs, 55 coffees, 55 French fries, 55 whatever. And it's like, it turns out to be like $680, and the guy in front of him is like, what the heck? Anyway, it's hilarious.
It's great, and it's weird. It's
yeah,
weird.
there is a weird.
It's weird. Yeah.
But what you said about not all of these are funny.
Yeah.
I remember watching a few, and I'm like, that was just awkward and weird. But that kind of fits the whole brand of it.
Nobody bats 1,000. You're going to miss a few times. It's
like the gift one. That one is hit or miss.
A lot of them are, but the ones that hit are tremendous. Speaking of Netflix, I watched the Arnold documentary, at least the first episode of the Arnold documentary. It's terrific.
Really?
It's really, really good. It's a lot of first-person stuff with him, kind of talking about his life. He's unbelievably engaging, unbelievably charismatic, and just he's funny, and it's fascinating how he got started. The whole first episode is about bodybuilding, right? It's just his life as a bodybuilder.
So you instantly are like...
But, dude, he's 16 and smashing people in bodybuilding competitions.
How do you like smash people in bodybuilding competitions?
So good question. They show
Put
the
more
pictures.
weights on.
They show pictures of him next to these adults, and his physique is
stupid,
so much more advanced than these other guys.
Right.
It's like it's not even close.
And speaking
that too.
Speaking of which, okay, so I just found out like yesterday. I had an old coworker that I kind of forgot about. You know, him and I didn't work together that long, but then I was just like on Instagram and I saw that he's a bodybuilder now, and I was like, ooh. It's just like insane, just like what they have to go through and what they look like when they compete. I'm just like, how did this even come about?
I don't know, and it's not for me. But the Arnold documentary is
legit.
It's really good. I can't wait to see. It's bodybuilders part 1, actors part 2, politicians part 3, and they kind of break it into 3 different things. And he's one of those guys. You run into him every once in a while. There's not a lot of them, though. He's one of those guys that said at like 12 years old, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do that. And he's done it all. Like that thing we said, well, I'm going to play center fielder for the Dodgers, right? Or I'm going to be the point guard for the Lakers. And then your life takes over. And his was, I'm going to become the world's best bodybuilder. Then I'm going to go to America and take over Hollywood. Then I'm going to get in and change the world politically. Like he had this vision as a kid.
Incredible.
And basically just knocked down every target along the way. It's fascinating.
So, Al, what have you been watching when you haven't been watching basketball? We watched some random things.
I was going to say, I think you should leave in Arnold.
There's nothing right now that... There's literally nothing that I'm watching. So I don't have anything that I'm looking forward to say. I tried watching the Gladiators, the
30 for 30?
The 30 for 30. My girl was out in like a half hour. She's like, it's not that interesting. I stayed in it. The first one's long. It's probably like $1.30.
Second one's longer.
It is?
Yeah.
I didn't get to the second one. Let's put it that way. So I know you said the second one's heavier than the first one.
Second one's super depressing.
Or depressing. That's the right way to put it. But I watched that last week when we talked about it, but I have not watched anything consistent right now.
You have to be impressed with the amount of TV time I logged over the last week or so, Emily.
That's a lot. I was like, okay, I didn't even watch the Arnold documentary, so good for you.
I mean, the Heat have exit interviews today.
Will you watch that, Emily? Because honestly, I'm not surprised that you missed that. I don't know if Arnold Schwarzenegger is in your profile of things you'd like.
But you know what I'm going to watch, what I'm planning on watching, and I haven't seen it, and I've heard about it, and my dad had it on box set, and I never watched it as a kid, but I'm going to watch Band of Brothers. I haven't watched it yet, and that came out in 2001. I've had it consistently recommended to me as something to watch from HBO, so I'm going to watch Band of Brothers.
Speaking of your NBA, Slee, Shams is reporting, following tweet, Bradley Beal and the Wizards expected to work together on a trade should team officials elect to reset the roster, with the Eastern Conference champion Miami Heat set to emerge as a prominent potential suitor. You've brought up his name a handful of times over the last couple of years as somebody that you think could be a difference maker somewhere else. The Wizards, he's missed a lot of games over the last 2 years. I think he's missed 74 games over the last 2 years.
Wow, so I didn't know he missed that much.
He's had a lot of health problems along the way. He can shoot, he can score. He's never really been on a good team. He's never had to play in really meaningful games. Be interesting to see what his value is. The name may be bigger than the value at this point.
I think there's a lot of times that you look at a player and you say, hey, if he's the best player on my team, what is that team? Well, it's not that good. If the best player on your team is Bradley Beal, you're not really going to make any noise. Mm-hmm. That's when you kind of start looking at, all right, what if I saw this over the last couple of days. You kind of saw, whatever, you're looking back, Nuggets win a championship. You start looking at previous championships. Clips start coming up. Pau Gasol on the Memphis Grizzlies was only going to be able to do so much. Well, what if Pau's your second best player? What if Lamar Odom becomes your third best player? What if Andrew Bynum's your fourth best player? Using that as an example. A player like Bradley Beal, this is part of the reason why we talked about the Lakers and when Fred VanVleet came up of he's declining his player option and now he's going to become a free agent. Fred VanVleet's not going to do anything in the league on his own. What if he's your third best player? What if Bradley Beal is your third best player because you got Jimmy Butler, you got Bam Adebayo, and you got Bradley Beal? I do think there are players like that can kind of change the scope of a roster if they're in the right spot, if they're in the right position, and they're also not asked to do what they were doing previously.
Can I add one other thing to this? Bradley Beal is 30 years old, he's missing games, and he's owed $251 million through 2027 with
he's getting
trade.
Paid.
So that's what that's what you got to take on. So you're going to pay $251 million to a 30-year-old guy who is hurt a lot. I hear what you're saying, but it's not just he'll be he's a wildly expensive third best player. That kind of changes the metrics of it. No. Because if you could put it this way, if you're a free agent and you could get him in on a deal that worked for him and worked for you, that's a little bit different. But if you got to create this kind of space for him, 30 years old, $251 million left on his deal through 2027. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5 more years, and you can't trade him unless you get his permission. You better be damn sure it's going to work out for you.
So I think the numbers in the NBA I pay a little less attention to because there have been so many players, Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook, the numbers, I know these numbers they're insane. They're crazy. He'll be 30, 31, and 32 over those 3 years. The fourth year is a player option. I don't think that's going to stop any because let me give you an example.
Really?
Yeah, because, listen, let's say you had him for 2 years.
Because that player option, he's taking that because he ain't getting it on the open market.
Oh, he could still get – you'd be surprised. Even in the open market, he's going to be 33 years old by the time contract's there.
Yeah, but he's getting worse and he's missing more games. Like, if the trajectory were doing this, sure, but it's doing this.
I think don't ever question the NBA for contracts that good.
Fair enough.
and especially in today's NBA where 32 years old, 33 years old, it's not like the end of the world where maybe that number would have been a lot different if it was 15 years ago, 10 years ago, something along those lines. Just let me play off of this with Bradley Beal.
That's a lot of money for a guy that's getting worse, not getting better.
But if they have a 2-year window, if they're saying to themselves, for the next 2 years, we want to have a player like this, it's still a tradable asset after those 2 years. It is. You know what I mean? That you don't necessarily have to have that player for the duration of his contract.
I agree with you on that. I agree that you can always move out of these guys, but the more meat that's left on the bone, the harder it is to move them. I think this is probably why the Wiz are looking at this like, now let's see if we can get somebody to take this off of our hands, because that player option is very likely to vest. So you're looking at 4 years at roughly $35 million a year. Mm-hmm. I know the cap's going up. I know that you have some flexibility, but to be my third best guy, he's a good player. It's not that he's not a good player, but that feels like you're locked into a very high number for a certain type of guy.
Yeah, I think there are. I think there. It sounds like the question is not will he get moved. The question is would you move. Would you move things for him?
Yeah, no, he's available. It's just, do you want to pay that price?
Well, because, listen, there are plenty of teams that would do it. The question is, are they smart teams? Are they good teams? Are they competing teams?
That's a perfect point. Who takes him will let you know exactly what his value is, right? Mm-hmm. If the Heat took him, if Oklahoma
and Miami's
City
a well-run organization,
that's what I mean.
So that's one where I think your antenna's coming up and saying, would Pat Riley say, hey, I want this on my books over the next 3 years?
If he signs off on it, then maybe there's something to it. But if it's the Timberwolves or the Bulls, it's like, wait, what are they doing?
Yeah.
Then it's like, oh, there they go again. And we'll see.
That one, if it's a franchise that's not going anywhere or you don't have that much confidence in, then it's kind of fits the bill.
Ask Taylor coming up at 10:45. Go ahead and send those to us via Twitter at Travis Rogers, at Alan Sliwa, at Emily Hebel. And, of course, you can call 877-710-3776. That's coming up in just a little bit. He's not the only one that may or may not be on the trade block. Zion? Him too? Who isn't trading? That's next. Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
All right, we are experiencing a roadway safety crisis and need everybody's help here. Very important message. Of all the messaging that we have here, and we got a lot of great partners, Go Safely California really, really is trying to help our roads become as safe as possible. Join the Go Safely movement and share your thoughts on what actions are needed to make our roads safer. I'm going to give you the website. Visit gosafelyca.org and take a brief survey. We really, really can use as many people as possible here in Los Angeles and Southern California to help give their feedback on making the road safer. GoSafelyCA.org. Take that brief survey. Go Safely California from the California Office of Traffic Safety.
Pretty good job so far for the Ask Taylor segment. We're loading up pretty good, Slee.
Yeah.
If you want to get in on it, you know how to do it. 877-710-3776. Of course, you can send them to Al under his Twitter handle, Alan Sliwa, Emily at Emily Hebel, my Twitter handle at Travis Rogers. So you can send all three of us.
It's not really a question. It's more of a heads up. I got somebody this morning that said, hey, Al, let me show you a video. He shows me a video, chugging a beer.
Okay.
He says, I think I could take him down.
It was a video of himself?
Yeah. And immediately, when I saw the video,
Yeah.
I didn't say I started my stopwatch on my phone, right? Because I'm like, all right, well, we kind of know how this has played out in many times.
And also the parameters are fine. It's out of a glass jug or
Out of a glass and zero spillage.
Okay.
No spillage at all. And I said, listen, I don't know what you want me to tell you, but I feel like I've ran into people that have said this before. Like I've kind of been down this road before where somebody, and I don't know why they come to me like I'm your agent.
Maybe you should be.
You're the fight promoter, so you're going to have to
he's
figure
the
out
Don King in this
I'm
situation.
the middleman, right?
Yeah, Bob Arum over
and
there.
I said, listen, I appreciate the resume, but I'm not sure if I'm going to get back to you.
Where did you run into this person?
It's within the parameters of this
I
office.
know who it was. It was Justin. It was Justin.
I thought it was going to be Ron.
No, it's Justin.
0 for 2, guys.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it DeAndre?
Well, here's the thing. The Justin thing's already going to happen at the softball.
It seems like it.
So Justin doesn't need to come up
Okay.
here. Our boy DeAndre showed me a video.
Wow.
She's slow playing me back there.
Well, because he has a beef with you. He
Well, we
clearly,
don't get along.
yeah.
DeAndre and I are not on the same team. We have
And
bad
he is
blood.
young.
And the confidence from DeAndre was like, and I told him, I said, listen, probably the right way to do this is at the softball. We're already going to do one because you've already said you don't want to have 39 different fights in the same night.
It's not a winning combination.
Right? The
course
best
not.
example is when you're like, Tyson didn't go fight somebody, and
He
then
didn't
right
knock
after,
out, whoever, Michael Spinks, and then fight, Carl the Truth Williams 10 minutes later.
that was so good. I was like, yeah, that's
Okay, so I got
a
to. Where's DeAndre? Is he back
DeAndre,
there?
you could actually, I think,
DeAndre,
You
Taylor,
have
come in
like
here for a
40
second.
years of experience.
well, I was going to
over
say,
him,
Taylor,
so
I
it's
think you
great.
could even pot him up. You could just turn that mic on.
He's coming in. He's coming in. We'll bring him in here. I have. You see where I'm going with this, right? You can see my first question or two. DeAndre's coming into the studio right now. So DeAndre is part of the Fun and Games department with Tommy. So I got a couple of questions for you.
By far the most athletic guy at this radio station, yes.
Unless Parker's on his team and sabotages the entire effort, and
I
then
don't
it
know.
doesn't
Kirk.
really matter.
Kirk's up there too.
Why did you go to Slee with this? Why didn't you come to me directly?
Because I felt like Slee.
Yeah.
Going to him first, kind of setting the tone up, for this, I seen you at the Mandy's, I seen the competition between you and AK, and then Key tried to jump in, but he wasn't really competition.
Key was me at the LAFC.
You know what I mean? So,
I
I went to Slee because if I went to you first, I felt like you would have just, brushed it off. But now that Slee came to him first, and kind of made more of a feel for it, man. So
Can I see the video?
I'll show you the video.
Yeah, let's take a look. I mean, if we're gonna, I need to see what's going on.
Sure. You want to see?
I want to see some tape on my opponent.
That's all you want to see.
I need to see. Is this something that you have been doing for a while? Do you have some laps around the track?
No, you know what? I seen you doing it, and I was like, I did some stuff in college. I had like a little competition and stuff.
He was motivated. I think by you.
I seen you on that stage against you and AK. I was like, you know what? I think I can take on Trav.
Okay.
I think this is early
I
like
got that
beef of
dog
the
in
year
me.
candidates right here.
We'll see. I
Well,
want to
they've
see.
had a beef.
All right, here we go. Oh, this was at the Mandy's.
Even at the Mandy's. Sideline.
Oh, wait, hold on. Is
Put up to the mic.
Let me say something, Trav. This is how you really do it.
okay.
Running his mouth a little bit.
Anytime, anywhere, brother.
Okay.
Not a problem.
So
Not a problem at all.
So me and Slee, we're talking this morning when I showed him. I was like, before you get in the studio, I need to show you something, Slee. And he brought
Kind
up
of pulled me to the side. I didn't know what was going on. He kind of gave me one of those. Hey, Sleek,
There's
come into
so
my
many
office.
things about that don't sweat me. I'm
No
so-
spill. No spill.
I'm
That's fine.
I'm fine.
As in the fact that he actually drank the whole beer, which that has stood out from everybody.
Was that a normal pint glass?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm fine. Whenever you're ready, let me know.
So that's why he came to the conclusion. Slee did. We got All-Star. All-Star coming up.
Yep.
Maybe we can do it there.
Yeah, celebrity softball tournament or All-Stars tournament, whatever.
Again, you really should work your way up. You got to beat Greg too. You got to beat AK, so we can really know if they're made of the right stuff.
You're right. You're right. I'll start from the bottom.
We talked
I'll
about
work
these
my way
qualifiers.
up.
Yes,
I'm really confident right now.
Okay, DeAndre, the only thing I'm going to say is this. His confidence is so ridiculous. I'd be practicing like once a night, just take down a beer.
I
would practice.
So this particular skill that I possess is like height. You really can't teach it. You either have it or you don't, right? And DeAndre's got a little bit of speed, but nothing I saw in there. Unless that video was a setup, I'm not worried.
All right, like I said, we're just gonna have to see. I think I got the skills
when you
necessary.
get here, every morning you get here, because what we want to see is just commitment and passion. Every
Bunch
morning
of empty
you
beer
get here.
cans in the bathroom.
Where's DeAndre? He's practicing.
He's passed out on the couch in the bullpen.
It's all
Why
for content.
is he here on Sundays?
What'd you say, Em?
Said it's all for content.
That's right. All right. I'm not signing off on the All-Star thing yet because I think I already have a fight that night, but we will find an opportunity
line 'em up.
to do it. Yeah, we could do a group thing. That's fine.
We're gonna have to make you a belt, Trav. This is gonna be.
The belt lives in my head, Tyler.
There you go.
The belt, it's a metaphorical belt that I hold on
No, you gotta be slinging it over the shoulder.
Yeah,
It's
look,
a North American cut belt.
when Andy threw down the gauntlet when we did the show a couple weeks ago, the way he did it made me go, huh. And quite frankly, despite the fact that he spilled a lot of the beer, Andy's got some speed. Andy has real speed. That video that DeAndre just showed me right there, not really worried about it at all.
Ooh, DeAndre.
Yeah. There's a couple of things.
I think DeAndre's slow playing this whole thing.
There's just.
How about, by the way, my favorite.
DeAndre, can we post that somewhere so we can get that
my
reaction?
favorite part was him at the side of the Mandy's doing this and talking to, I don't even know who's recording the video. It's probably Cody or something like that. Having his own little tournament on the side.
He says it was Parker. Parker shot
shot it. Yeah, we should put that up because there's one thing in there that's like, oh, this is not a problem at all. I'm just curious if ever, like game recognizes game. Where you can just kind of see it, and there was something in there that goes, no, this isn't for real.
So Dan Peralta tweets at us. He says, DeAndre sounds like every team saying we want Bama in college football, and we all know how this ends.
Yeah, look, I'm Nick Saban in this situation. I'm Nick Saban and Derrick Henry and Micah Parsons and everyone else that's come through that.
That's true. Why do they all say we want Bama?
Here's why.
Shut up.
Here's why.
Don't say anything.
Somebody gets them. Eventually, could have a bad day.
Georgia, too.
Georgia. Georgia gets
right.
them.
That's not Georgia. That's like Kentucky after they opened up 2-0. And we bring on Bama. All right, get ready. Here it comes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't notice the problem with that, Al? There's a big part of that's like, no, man. I'll tell you during the break.
I think I know what you're talking about.
I want to put it on.
I think
on
I know what you're talking
social
about.
feeds because I think everybody's going to go, oh no. This is going to go.
I'm just excited to see DeAndre follow through with something. I'm still waiting on the podcast.
Wow.
Makes two
All
of us.
right.
No, that makes two of us.
Here we go. Lot of
That
beef
I'm with
going
you
on
on.
today.
Where's it at, man?
Ask Taylor coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN. If you get hurt in an accident, you need to know that not all personal injury attorneys are created the same. Sweet James has been awarded the best attorneys in America, and personal injury is all that they do. And their success is driven by their passion to help you, their clients. So where does that passion come from? In Sweet James's case, it comes from having worked from the insurance companies, seeing how they do business, seeing how they treat their clients, and saying, no way that person deserves more than that. That person deserves to get their car fixed. That person deserves to get the medical care that they require. And, of course, that's settlement. So what type of settlements are we talking about? In his nearly 20 years of experience, Sweet James has collected over $1 billion in settlements. That's $1 billion with a B. So if you're hurt in an accident, do what I've done. and call Sweet James. 1-800-9-MILLION. 1-800-9-MILLION. Again, that's 1-800-900-0000. It's the call I've made after accidents in my family. It's the call I've recommended my friends make after accidents. They've come back to me and said, Travis, thank you so much for turning me on to Sweet James. Call Sweet James. Car, motorcycle, truck accident, whatever it is, if you're hurt in an accident, call Sweet James. 1-800-9-MILLION, and, of course, sweetjames.com.
My voice is still recovering from the Mandy's, so I'll make this quick. We like to do Celebrity Ask Sliwa on Wednesday, and today it's time for Ask Taylor. And Ask Taylor is presented by our friends at Harrah's Resort SoCal. Find your funner state of mind with a visit to Harrah's Resort SoCal. Voted best resort in funner California. From dining to unwinding, you'll find fun around every corner. Learn more at harrahssocal.com. Let's do it. Ask Taylor, your Wednesday right now.
All right, Taylor, here we go. We're going to start with Manson the Clown. Check that. We're going to start with a different one. This is from Positively Black 3. It says, you're on a blind date, and the date starts ordering expensive food and drinks, and the bill total is more than you expected. Do you ask to split the check, or do you take the loss and pay?
It depends on who asked who on the date. If I asked her, then I'm paying for it, regardless of what she orders. But if she asked me on the date, then I'll split it.
If she asked you on the date and it's not outrageous, it's just kind of a normal night out, do you offer to pick up the check?
Yeah. Especially if it's going well.
What number? At what number are we outrageous? So she's saying, you know what? I love the surf and turf. Let's get that.
What a mattress.
I'm a big fan of the surf and turf.
You ever had the seafood tower? Let's get one for the table.
I mean, Slee, I was thinking the combo at Chick-fil-A here. I mean, I'm just.
Is it anything over 100? She asked you for the date. The date is going average, where you're like, let's do a little split here.
Oh, man, it's such an awkward thing to do. You know, if the girl like reaches for her wallet or her purse or whatever, and she's like, oh, you know, if she's putting it out there, but otherwise, I don't know.
Okay,
there's a little old fashioned.
There has to be somebody out there that's experienced this because, like you just said, Taylor, the awkwardness of this moment could be really through the roof. Very awkward. Because if she orders the surf and
it's like
turf,
a standoff
like Al's
in
saying,
a spaghetti western,
and then she says, well, okay, let's get going, and she's looking at you like you need to pay this. Do you say, hey, let's go halvesies on this? Do you have to put it out there? Do you have to ask for it?
That's also a bit rude of her to expect someone else to pay for the meal. I think it's
a bottle of wine.
It's 2023. Come on.
It happens. Mm-hmm. What do you do? Do you ask? Like, say, hey, this got a little away from us. You want to go halvesies on this?
If the waiter puts the check down in the middle, I mean, you just wait it out.
Wait it out.
I think it's one of those profit and loss statements, and you just got to take the loss.
You should follow up and just request her on Venmo afterwards. And so it's like, hey, especially if the date does not go well.
Romance isn't dead.
Yeah, exactly.
That's go ahead, 877-710 ESPN. Awkward moments when the check came on first dates. I'd love to hear as many of those as we can. Brandon writes, if Taylor had to start a band with the Trav and Slee show, who's playing what instrument? Hashtag Ask Taylor.
Just folks in this room?
Yeah.
I mean,
not a great band.
Slee's got to be my singer. He's the only one I've really heard sing.
Yep. That's an easy one.
Dominates the Whitney Houston. Trav, I think you might have some rhythm. You could hold it down on the drums.
Okay. I don't, but I'd give it a shot.
Okay. We'll put you on bass.
Just out of curiosity, let's say he's drums. And we're 2 songs in, and he's like a little winded. He's a little tired.
2 songs in?
Yeah. Is that about right?
I'm just going to go to the cowbell at that point.
Because it's...
Bunk, bunk.
Because each song is 5 minutes, so now you're 9 minutes of just...
That's right, just cowbell it up.
Can I play the clarinet or something?
Yeah, I think, Emily, you mentioned before that you were in band in high school, right?
Yeah.
Or you played some kind of brass?
Did you play the clarinet?
But I can play the saxophone. So
okay, I want some sax in my band. And Tyler, what are we doing? What are we doing, Tyler?
I feel like I could hit the sticks. I could be a drummer.
All right, so
Okay, so he's got the
I'm
drummer.
switching Trav to bass.
Yep. Can we give DeAndre a role?
Not until he beats Trav.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to earn his stripes a little bit more.
Saxophone?
Maybe on the keys? I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, that might work.
D on the keys?
D on the keys.
Okay.
Manson writes,
band.
have you seen the UFO
Wait,
videos?
Manson the Clown. You got to see his full name or else he gets mad.
Manson the Clown. Thank you, Emily. Have you seen the UFO videos last week that took place in Vegas? There's also some weird videos of what look like aliens, too, in people's backyards. Do you believe in this stuff?
I do. I mean, especially since it's, kind of common knowledge now. The, CIA, FBI.
Intelligent
Not too
life
far
that's
from-
checking
Not that we
this
should
out?
be trusting the government, but, they're saying it's true.
Just they've come here, or they're just out there somewhere?
I think it's on this Earth, actually. I think there's extraterrestrial. Well, I guess interterrestrial would make more sense.
Not
But
too far
it's
from
on this
Area
Earth.
51.
Yeah.
Right? That was part of the conspiracy there. Here's the thing. Did you guys see the video of them in the backyard? Because initially there was just the police
I haven't
report.
seen it.
And then it was like, so nobody took video on their phone. And they eventually released
Where
the
did this
video.
happen? In Vegas?
This is in Vegas.
Okay.
They eventually released the video of the family. Basically, there's like a little gate, and it looks like a forklift in the backyard. And they got their camera phone, and they're trying to take video. I watched the video 388 times. I didn't see anything.
That's a lot of watches, Slee.
I didn't see anything.
You were
and then I'm
determined to
looking
see
at the
something.
comments where people, usually in the comments, somebody will screenshot, they'll stop this, and they did that. And I'm like, I still don't see anything. And then all the comments were, what am I watching? What am I looking for?
I believe in it too, Taylor. But the best case for it is what against it, I should say, is what Alan just said. If they're here as frequently as everybody claims to have seen them, why have we never gotten a good video of any of these things? Why have we I know that
Maybe
there's
they
those
look like us.
Navy videos of things buzzing around in the sky. That's hard to explain. But if there's stuff in somebody's backyard, everybody's got a camera in their pocket. We've never gotten a picture or a video. Yeah, that's a hard
That's
one to
all I'm
explain.
saying.
I want to believe.
I do too.
I do too. I'm down to believe. I really,
I want them to know I'm on their side.
I want to invest with them.
No, I just want them when they come to harvest us that they save me for last.
Yeah.
Because I feel look, I'll help you. What do you want me to do? I'd be
sell out the whole show.
absolutely. I would be turning
Sleaze
around
first.
like
Eat
that.
'em.
Anybody it takes. I just don't eat me first. Chris Holmes, winner survives, loser doesn't. Are you taking on Trav in beer chugging, Emily in trivia, or Slee in best corner 3 percentage out of 100 shots?
So loser doesn't, as in what
You have to win, or
what
that's
happened? You're dead.
Jeez.
I mean,
High stakes.
It's like
are our
Squid
tweets.
Games of
These
Ask
are our
Taylor.
tweets.
Trav's in his mid-60s anyway, so I feel like he might have a little fewer years. I'm just joking,
But I don't
Trav.
think you could beat me. It's good logic, but I think you're unlikely to beat me in that.
That's the most sure shot out of all this. I haven't seen Slee shoot a basket.
Pop a shot.
Emily's talked a lot about her trivia, but
But we never won.
I mean, yeah. Well, didn't you win? But
We got
that was when you were
second
gone or
place.
something?
Yeah, it was.
The day you were gone, you won?
No, they were joking with me.
Oh,
yeah.
You're picking Emily?
I'm choosing Trav. I think you're the best sure shot on that list.
No, but you have to go against me in this scenario. You have to go up
So
against
you
one
basically
of us.
don't want to go up against
Yeah.
him.
You
If
wanna
he's the
survive.
first,
Yeah.
if he's the sure
These
shot, you
questions
don't
are
want
so
to do
confusing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who do you want to compete against in those three things?
I don't think Slee can hit 40
Can
from
you?
the corner.
that. Yeah, the
I
question
can't.
is not me. The
Yeah.
question is, can you?
You have to beat
I gotta
one of
beat.
us.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if I shoot.
Did I read that wrong?
Okay.
No.
I'm
So-
just an idiot. So
No, you're not an idiot. It's
All
a
right.
confusing question. If I shot
really.
35% from 3 and you shot 18%, then you're gone.
I don't think I could beat Slee. I don't think I could beat Emily either. But
Sounds
guys,
like he's
the
gone.
mat. Just take me now.
No, I
Just
think
take
I
me
could.
now.
I think I could. I have the best chance of beating Trav. I mean, there's a reason I don't drink anymore. It's because I can drink a lot.
Okay.
But if it was like between life and death,
I like that.
Yeah, you gotta. You can try to rally after that. What
Sorry,
do you?
that was confusing.
This is from.
The question is all over the place. You're
No,
good.
it's not. We all understood it. I like Taylor too, but let's not make
and the
stuff
funniest
up.
thing
Yeah,
is, I
you don't
also
have to help me.
I also
The way-
briefed him on this question before this. I asked him before.
The way you set it up.
I didn't set it up.
I know.
read it.
I know you read it, but the way you read it, it sounded what he
Emily, was
thought.
it confusing?
No.
To an extent, he thought. I kind of understood where he was coming from. Let's put it that way.
Mailman Matt, what do you think is more plausible? Trav inviting you guys over for a taco truck or a collaboration album with Willie Nelson?
Oh man, probably the
Collaboration,
I mean,
yeah, that's an easy one.
weren't you supposed to invite us in like February or something? It was,
Well,
Right, after the
February
Ram
got a
season.
little
The Ram
busy.
season
No,
was
Ram
over.
season just ended.
no. It was not February.
and now it's been pushed to.
There were
there's not even a-
invites way before February.
Well, for
And then
Jorge,
once we got
Speculation
last
more than
football
invites.
season started, then it became February.
But Travis, next month got no football season either. You know, you'll be around. We'll
Yes,
be around.
Yes,
Why
it's
don't
the
you invite
last
us?
month though before football season starts, so I need to
Of
start
course.
conserving energy for the football.
You know what'd be
season.
awesome?
Like a bear in hibernation.
Exactly. Yes.
If it was any other day, right, Trav?
exactly.
You know
like
what'd be
that.
awesome is if you finally set it up and you got all ready and you know we really promoted on the air and then none of us showed up.
Crypto Ray, if you were offered to be the next Bachelor on TV, would you do it?
No,
That means that you would go on TV
Oh.
as the Bachelor.
Yes.
Read it again.
Sometimes when I can't read things in front of me, my comprehension isn't the best. I would absolutely not. I can barely look back at pictures of me at the Mandy's. I don't know. I don't like being in the spotlight. That's not me. So, not going to put my dating life out there like that.
You would do well on The Bachelor because the aw shucks thing I think would play very well.
Very well.
You're a handsome guy. You would be able to pull
Aw,
it off.
shucks.
I think you have a talent, right? That you can play music is always very appealing to people. I think you would do quite
If
well.
I didn't see the cameras and if I never watched it again,
I was
You're
going to say,
also
you don't have
tall.
to watch it. You
Yeah,
just have
yeah.
to participate
Tall.
in it.
Yeah,
Chicks
we're
take
gonna
tall
submit
dudes.
his name. We're gonna just do all the paperwork, whether he likes it or not. He's on.
Also, speaking of the
Shooting starts on Thursday.
They're coming in here.
the
They just all start coming in.
parade of women with roses, and he's just one after the next.
speaking of the Bachelor, another one of my favorite sketches from I Think You Should Leave was the Zipline Bachelor sketch.
Oh, where he's just. So that one is there. He's a contestant on like a Bachelor-like show, and all the guys are competing for her attention. And all he does is use the zip line into the swimming pool over and over again. He
And
doesn't
she's
pay
like-
her any attention
And she's
at
like,
all.
I think that all you care about is the zip line. He's like, no.
He's shoveling food in his face so he can just run back to the zip line again. It's pretty great. It's pretty great.
All right,
Good job,
Ashley
Taylor.
is brought to you by Harris Resort SoCal. Get in a funner state of mind with a grown-up getaway to Harris Resort SoCal. From dining to unwinding, you'll find fun around every corner. Learn more at harrissocal.com. Taylor was good. Good questions, by the way, too.
They're always,
Not confusing at all.
They weren't. It's all right.
you got to spell them out for me next
We all
time.
get turned around a little bit. Emily threw something at me with the Dodgers this morning that cracked my head in half. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. And the U.S. Open is back in Los Angeles. And to celebrate, Slee and I are giving you a chance to win the ultimate luxury experience to Pacific Palms Resort. The winner has a $50 gift card to Red Restaurant and qualifies for the grand prize, a two-night stay at Pacific Palms Resort, 2 rounds of golf, and dinner at Red Restaurant. Pacific Palms Resort, LA's Hilltop Hideaway and #1 work and play resort. Book your next getaway at PacificPalmsResort.com. What do you think?
I have no idea what's happening right now.
It's the sound of the U.S. Open, which starts tomorrow right here in Los Angeles.
Mine would just be a lot of splashing, and
Yeah.
if you play
Thud.
that, yeah, if you play that, I'd be like, oh, golf.
4, right? And clank and the sound of the
Glass
clubs.
breaking for a
People
hole
ducking
that's
for
close
cover.
by. That would have helped me
And
out.
had kind of a nice little rhythm.
It's
to it.
motivational.
Whack, 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 whack.
It's like
Yeah.
ready to start doing some push-ups.
I can't wait. I'm going to be out at LACC on Friday all day long.
Tell me
And
that's not
I'm going to
motivational.
have this. I'm going to put in my AirPods, and I'm just going to walk around and listen to this the entire time.
Why is
You're in
Trav
Century City
jogging
Mall.
Exactly.
at Century City Mall?
That's where I have to park.
I know.
It's close, but it's
How close?
close. Less than 2 miles. And then they shuttle you in, I think. If we're walking, I'm driving back to the
Yeah, I don't think-
in the morning.
I'm waiting for you to say, I'm good. I don't need a shuttle.
So the boy, my oldest son, Bobby, he was out there yesterday for practice rounds. He said it was just unbelievable. Just everything that has come out is like people are going to be blown away by this. I know I'm
badass.
a golf guy, and I know that
No,
it's
but
kind
that's-
of a narrow little silo for people, but having a national event,
Big-time
in
event.
LA,
Yeah.
first time in 75 years, can't wait.
Was he there for work, or did he just get a
One of
tea
his
time?
buddies' dads is was a tour photographer, so they got some day passes
Oh,
for
sweet.
Awesome.
the practice rounds.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait. How long should I stay? That's the question.
You said you're getting there super early.
We're going to try to get there around 7 or so. I think the first groups go out around 7:30. So we're going to be there early, and then you could follow a group. I could set up a shop, and I could do both. I could be there for all day. It's literally an all-day event.
I think you're going to follow. I think you want to see but you should follow.
I want to see the whole course.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Do you want to kind of just go there and, hey, here's hole 4 again?
I want to be on the lookout for members so I can try to weasel my way into an invitation.
What would that conversation be?
See, this is the thing. There's a dance to these things.
Okay.
You have to make it known that you like to play golf, that you are a golfer, right? Not that you would just occasionally play, but that you play regularly.
Play fast.
That you play fast, that you are a relatively easy hang.
Yep.
And that you also, what is a nice little nugget to drop, but you got to be very careful about how you do it. Because if you do it clumsily.
Is how much your house is worth?
No, but I've played places like this before. And I always have such a great. I never had the opportunity. You can't be like, well, I've played over here. That's not going to work.
What
But
if
just
you wear something that indicates that you were at a really nice club or golf course before?
Because then you could be one of those guys that's trying to peacock it a little bit. You got to. It's a very subtle dance. It's a lot of unspoken language.
You bring your Mandy with you?
I could do that.
Say you're there just for the zip line.
Yeah, I could do that too. Can't wait. It's going to be a good day.
So you get there about 7:30. They start, and you're not leaving till
3, 4, 5 o'clock.
I don't believe that. I think you're staying till like 9:30 p.m.
I can't. That won't happen because I have
turn this up a little.
I have a prior engagement Friday night that I need to be back for.
Yeah, you won't go.
I wish it were as easy as that. You understand where I'm going?
Makes sense.
Yeah, there's some things you got to go to. Other things you can skip. Can't skip this one.
Okay.
I'd like to, but you can't do it. All right, Emily. So I want you to hit Sliwa with what you hit me with this morning with the Dodgers and the very obvious problem they have in the bullpen. I just want to give you some quick numbers right here. With the game tied in the 8th or 9th inning, the Dodgers are 2-10. With the game tied at any point after the 6th inning, the Dodgers are 6-22. Which means they're in a bunch of these games and the bullpen can't hold on to them. That the bullpen is perpetually spitting the bed at the end of games.
Yeah, again, specifically at the end of the games, the 8th and 9th, the closing quote-unquote position. Okay,
Score 4 runs in the first inning, like yesterday.
They lead the league in first inning runs.
All right, so here's this layout, and I preface this with, if I'm totally out of pocket, I'm totally out of pocket. Whatever. All right, so we do know that the starting pitching isn't necessarily the problem with the Dodgers this season. They have to fill guys in. They've had guys that have gone deep enough, and they have been okay.
The only problem with the starting pitching just haven't been healthy.
Right, exactly. But it seems as if they can get some guys from their minor leagues to come up and fill it in. Urias is injured, all right? Or at least right now he's injured, had the setback last weekend. He has been a closer in the past for the Dodgers. All right, you need a closer right now. That's the biggest glaring problem right now for the Dodgers. He also is probably going to leave this offseason. We all can agree that he's probably going to leave this offseason, and the Dodgers could either pitch his arm off and use him as a starter for as long as possible, or you could say, hey, this is what we need right now. We need you to be a closer. You're a good closer. You
Won the World Series as a closer.
Exactly. And that can be your new role with us, and you can take it or leave it kind of thing because we know you're leaving already. We don't have to care about preserving this relationship because it's already gone. All right, so what about entertaining Urias coming back at the end of the season as a closer?
I don't like it. Tell you why I don't like it. I think that there's a perception that you may leave too with Julio when he does leave that goes past Julio. That there could be other pitchers that are looking at the situation or looking how they treated Julio and say, this is one of the best pitchers in all of Major League Baseball. He is an ace. He's the ace that started off your year.
But you needed to solve a problem. The Dodgers needed a closer.
So to solve your problem, that's on your organization to go solve that problem. Why are you taking your ace and saying, hey, go close the ninth? On top of that, you're going to tell me you don't want Julio as a starter? I mean, to have Julio come in the ninth inning at times when that setup is there, you might not use Julio for...
But if you're Julio, you can preserve your innings pitched. Okay, you're not going to injure yourself for the Dodgers anymore. You're going to have
less wear and tear conceivably.
Yes, conceivably, than pitching 6-7 innings on a rotation for the Dodgers. So you save yourself for the free agency.
It's an interesting the concept of it because he has pitched and closed out games before. Yep. But that also might be part of the reason why Julio's also looking at the Dodgers and saying, damn, they're still effing with me.
When she laid this out, my first reaction was, wait, hold on. Wait. Because it makes a ton of sense. It will never happen. It will never happen for one simple reason. Julio won't do it, right? That's why, but the theory of it is you actually, I'm not saying they're all great options, but you have multiple options in your starting rotation, right? They're not great. You've got Stone, you've got Grove, Miller looks great. You've got Kershaw, you've got Gonsolin, you've got some guys that can start game. You could
have Buehler back in September potentially.
You could cobble together some sort of 5 guys to start games. You do not have anybody in your organization that can pitch the last part of the game. Daniel Hudson's the one guy they're talking about. The answer is like it solves
or Evan
two
Phillips,
problems,
even though you need him to kind of do everything.
If they were going to do that, wouldn't they have done that? They've had a couple of seasons where they've very clearly opted not to do that.
But also the market out there has starting pitchers. It doesn't necessarily have a closer.
And it doesn't. The fly in the ointment is why they're here. If I'm Julio or Julio's agent and they float this idea to me, it's what's in it for me? I'm about to hit free agency as a starting pitcher. Those guys get paid a lot more than closers. I am a starting pitcher. Like to your point, I was your number one opening guy. Now, their argument could be, yeah, but you haven't pitched like it. The argument could be, you've been okay, but you haven't been great. It kind of half solves 2 problems. The only problem is there's nothing in it for Julio. And Julio would say, you guys already kind of did me dirty the last time. They could say, did you dirty? We won you the World Series. We won the World Series together. This is good for all of us. The agent would never sign off on it. The player would never sign off on it.
The interesting what she said, ultimately at the end of the day, if you already feel like you're losing the guy.
Oh, he's
okay, so if that's there, then you don't really have to accommodate anymore.
No, you don't, but you at least, because if you say, I want you to pitch out of the bullpen, he says, I'm not doing that. You'd rather have him pitch than not pitch.
I would not do it. I would not present the idea of having him come in as the closer. I would not.
I'd float it. I'd wait for the no, and when he said no, go, okay, and then just go back to the way I'm doing it, because it's a weird solution to a big problem. He's good back there. Mm-hmm. He's been really good up front too, but you have some options up there. It's an inelegant solution to a really complicated problem.
Wouldn't another solution be go try to get another arm?
Who? There's just there. You look at who's out there. The options to acquire are really slim. Starting pitching, the one guy that kind of jumps off the page, two guys, I guess. Corbin Burns from Milwaukee, Shane Bieber from the Guardians. Those are the two guys that seem like they may or may not be available. But if you got those guys are your number one or number two, right? Beyond that, it's the closers that are available.
How many starters do you have to have that you pretty much are depending on come postseason? Four? They'll be in an interesting spot if health is going to be everything. Don't count Walker Buehler. Just pay attention to Julio's going to get a start. Kershaw's going to get a start. Agreed?
Yes.
Gonsolin's going to get a start.
Yes. Oh, you can. If Bobby Miller's healthy, he's pitching in the postseason.
May is going to get a start.
No, I don't think you can count on him at all.
Okay, then let's say Bobby Miller.
Yeah.
The only reason why I'm saying let's find the four is because health will have a lot to do with it. And I'm not talking about health of those four guys, which of course they have to be healthy.
Sure.
It's the other players that if they're healthy as well, then you got some more
It's
bullpen
a
help.
clumsy solution, but it sounds crazy until you really kind of start to, because let's do it. Miller, Kershaw, Gonsolin, figure out number four. But I got the ninth inning figured out. Now we just got to figure out the number four guy. Maybe it's May. Maybe it's Gavin Stone, one of these, and he's a big-time
Or
prospect.
like a middling guy on the market.
Or you do a bullpen day. You know, that's
Which they definitely do.
Everybody in the big leagues does it now. It's not super uncommon, but at least I know I got a hammer coming out. The agent would never let it happen. The player would never, ever happen. Emily, you can run my team. And we'll either be awesome or we'll all be fired within 2 weeks.
This could be totally out of pocket. Probably is totally out of pocket. But, you know, it's something that's there in a thought exercise because it's so desperate in that closing position.
When is he had the setback? Do we know when he's coming back?
It looks like at least a couple more weeks. Remember, he was supposed to pitch on Sunday, and they're like, nope, that didn't look right. Give it a couple more weeks. So I don't know.
Wait a couple more weeks.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And okay, a couple more weeks is July. Mm-hmm. All right. There's still a lot of time, but there's less.
9 games over 500, and they basically Julio has missed a big chunk, and Dustin May has missed a big chunk. That's
Syndergaard's was terrible,
awful.
So,
but that was performance based, right? These two they're not available.
We got some phone calls on this, and you just kind of broached this up. You said they're 9 games over 500, and it doesn't feel like a realistic possibility. But is there a scenario where if they don't fix it, they just miss altogether? That's next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. And we are fired up for the MLB season. Lucky for you, our friends at Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN, have great deals on great seats with a huge selection of tickets to this year's hottest matchups. Experience every crack of the bat, every diving catch, and every heart-pounding play of your favorite team live and in person. Just visit vividseats.com and download the app today. Vivid Seats, experience it live.
This Father's Day, celebrate the hero in your life with Barbecues Galore. At Barbecues Galore, they understand the importance of family. That's why they bring you the
Sports talk all day long. Each weekday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. This is Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
Emily, you might be an evil genius.
I believe blew your mind.
She really did.
Yeah.
Because it will never, ever the only chance Julio Urias is coming out of the pen for the Dodgers at the end of the season is if it's a Game 7 situation and he pitched in Game 5 as a starter and it's like,
it's
hey,
the end
we
of the
need
season.
you.
Right.
The old Randy Johnson coming in for the D-backs back in the day as a relief pitcher. But I can't just totally dismiss it because it just feels like kind of solid. It doesn't fix it perfectly, but it feels...
I think what it does... And they've already dealt with this so far this year. You clog one hole, you fix one hole, but then there's a leak still on the other side, right? It's a little bit of that. Now, at the same time, you could say, well, Julio hasn't been there for a few starts now, and when he was starting, it's not like he was...
He was okay.
He was okay.
Yeah.
He wasn't the Julio that you were expecting coming into the season. So I think it raises some questions, but I do feel like you sealed one hole and then there's another hole somewhere else.
What's been weird about Julio's season is that he's either been great or kind of bad.
Yeah.
Right? There hasn't been that, it was okay tonight. It's either been lights out, which he's done 3, 4, 5 times, or, dude, what's the matter with Julio 3 or 4 or 5 times? It's been a weird season for him. Let's try a phone call here. Let's go to Downey and our pal Jason. Jason, you're on with Travis Lee. What's up?
Good morning, guys. So I really do like Emily's approach by just telling them, Urias, like, hey, we need you. This is what you're going to do. You're out of here anyways. That's fine. But I just told her it's not going to work. I don't know what has happened since he won that World Series for us, but I just feel like he struggles those first 2, 3 innings. So to kind of put the last inning in his hands, I don't feel very confident in it. So I would rather them maybe find one of those arms they have to bring him up, throw him out there, or just to package and go get, a closer.
So,
like Al said, it's the organization's job. Have a good day, guys.
Thanks, Jay. Couple of things here. Number one, you're right. He does seem to struggle in the first inning, early in the ball game. You know what? If I'm just, and this is just me completely speculating here, but I think it's a decent hypothesis, if nothing else. I think it's adrenaline, because when he did come out of the bullpen, he was lights out when he was doing it, right? That when he does get tagged a little bit early in the game, it gets his adrenaline up like, hey, what the heck's going on? And then he locks it down for the rest of the night. I wonder if it's just one of these, all right, I got to go pitch 7 innings. I got to go throw 100 some odd pitches. And all right, here we go. This is the start of it. And then it's a double off the wall. And another one, it's like, wait, it's one. All right, and then bang, 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 bang. And he just starts dusting guys. I think there's a adrenaline factor.
Julio has a clutch gene. Right?
For sure.
And I think a lot of times that clutch gene doesn't wake up until you need to be clutch. And I think there's situations or predicaments like you just said. Let's say early in the game. All right, it's early. I'm going to probably go 6 or 7 innings anyways. But the way he pitches with guys on first and second might be a little bit – I got to lock in right here. And I think there's a little bit of that with him.
There's a caveat here that I don't think we're giving enough attention to, which is the fact that if an organization requests something of a player – the expectation is that they're going to be a team player. They're going to at least embrace the idea, give it some thought, and potentially go out there and do it. Julio, most likely leaving the Dodgers, puts him in a position where he needs to show other teams that he's willing to be a team player. And if the Dodgers approach him and say, hey, these are our thoughts, this is where we want you to be.
Here's my only question. Has he not shown that he's a team player?
He has, in my opinion.
Well,
that's the only thing.
This is going to be the resonating thing for teams that are looking at a player to bring into their organization, and this is the last thing.
The only reason why the conversation is brought up is because I think he has been a team player.
I agree with you. I think he has been, and I'm going to push back on that a little bit. Julio's really good. Somebody's going to pay him.
Sure.
He's really, really good. And somebody's going to go, and look, that wasn't cool what they were asking you to do. I guess, and it won't be where I'm not going to do it. It's, my knee. It feels like that hamstring thing is kind of, right. It's one of those things. It's
back
not,
is sore.
Right. There's a million different ways. Right? There's going to be a line of teams willing to give Julio Urias a fortune to come pitch for their team, regardless of what happens between today and the end of the season. If he pitches great the rest of the season, line of teams. If he pitches mediocre the rest of the season, line of teams. If he pitches poorly the rest of the season, line of teams. It's going to be he's going to get very, very rich when free agency comes around, whether they win the World Series or not. I think it's very unlikely that he comes back. Unfortunately, I really want him back. I think he's terrific for all of the reasons we've talked about. But it just feels like that the writing's on the wall.
Let's say hypothetically that Shohei was not in play.
Mm-hmm.
Would we be that confident that Julio's gone?
I think so.
Is that not weird?
I would.
Is it not weird to you that
I honestly don't think Shohei has a ton to do with it, Al. I really don't. I think that Shohei is the ultimate replace. You lose one ace and you get another in return who also hits league-leading home runs. Mm-hmm. But I don't think it's – look, if they're going to offer him something, and if he says yes, they'll be thrilled.
Is it just more the Dodger philosophy of we're not going to pay what we think the market's going to pay you?
I think it's a combination of that. They'll go big dollar short term, right? I'm making up numbers here. They'll go, we'll give you 4 years and we'll give you $200 million. Making up numbers here. We'll give you $50 million a year. Somebody like, let's use the Angels, say, we're going to give you 8 years and we're going to give
$300 million.
$300 million. Mm-hmm. Right? So it's just the security of it all. It's the unknown that you can eliminate as a player. I think that's part of it. And I really don't think you can underestimate. And I've heard this from people who know things and other people who understand things.
Okay.
I really don't think you can underestimate the fact that the Dodgers have always had him as something other than their guy. They like him, they respect him, they use him, but it's Buehler, it's May, it's Miller, it's Kershaw. He's always been the other guy in their plans. He was the guy that they're using out of the bullpen in weird ways, both last year and in the World Series year. They do it. They ask him to do things they've never asked other people to do.
So can I ask you a question? Why, for how good he's been, and for, like you said, how many teams would line up to say, hey, we'll take this guy?
A lot of them.
And we'll pay whatever we got to pay. Why do you think he's been labeled that way with the Dodgers? Because that doesn't – I mean, you said something to me before. I think there's also – it goes beyond just baseball. He represents a humongous Mexican base in Los Angeles. They had the mariachi band to start off the year, him as the ace. Isn't there more to it than just – I have a difficult time not understanding why the Dodgers wouldn't have more of a connection of making sure this man ain't going anywhere.
Maybe they thought it was going to be all right doing what they did, and they realized that it wasn't. You know what I mean? Like, this will work out. It's fine. Everybody's going to be on the same page. And then it's like, no, not really. Not really. Why am I always the one that's asked to do it, right?
Do you think he would take equal money somewhere else?
No. I think if the money's the same, if the term is the same, where are you going to go?
I'm with you. I'm with you.
But the money won't be the same. Mm-hmm. The money won't be the same. Somebody will go, because the Dodgers aren't doing the crazy one. They're not. They never really
They
have.
let Seager go.
They let Seager go. They let Turner go. They let Justin, they both Turners, Justin and Trey Turner, they both said, no, we can't do that.
A bad example, but a much smaller, a good example, but the Tyler Anderson I'm using as an example.
Sure.
He's not a good example, but it's an example of a team offered more years and more money, and that was enough to say goodbye.
Good luck.
It's not the same caliber of a player,
no,
but the same concept can happen.
It's the same principle. And look, when they've paid, think about who they've paid. Okay, who they've paid. They've paid Freddie Freeman, who might win an MVP this year, certainly in the mix to win an MVP. They've paid Mookie Betts, who has performed at MVP caliber levels more or less since he got here.
By the way, both of those deals are also incredibly good deals.
Yeah, but they're not.
Freeman's deal is, it sounds like it's ridiculous that he only got, what, he gets 6 years when he initially signed?
6 years, but it's high dollars.
But it doesn't seem crazy at all for what the guy does.
They don't do bad ones, and when they go big, they get a return on it. The one that they went really big on that blew up in their face was Trevor Bauer. Mm-hmm. It was a bad idea. That's the one that's the exception that proves the rule, that you can point to all these good deals that they made, all the good deals that they didn't make, or more to the point, bad deals that they didn't make. Trevor Bauer's the one that when they did it, everybody went, really? All right, good luck with that, and boom.
You know what doesn't help a guy like Julio, and I think maybe why I would think more Dodger fans would be really upset. Like, this is a type of conversation where they would say, how are you not going to pay Julio?
Yeah.
But I think what doesn't help Julio, Bobby Miller just comes up, and instantly there are players right behind him that are ready to come up and produce at a fraction of what the cost.
The reason, that's exactly right, that there's always the next guy, and there's nobody that's left that goes, I can't believe we let that guy go. I can't believe there's a Yordan Alvarez. There's some guys that they've traded away that have been really good.
But that happens. That's part of doing business.
Of course it does.
You're not going to hit every time.
If Trey Turner were in Philadelphia right now, putting up MVP type of numbers, it would be like, what, and the Dodger shortstop situation is what it is, where it's not great.
Unfortunately, but Lux got injured, so you didn't even give Lux a chance to say, hey, let me play.
And Turner's just kind of struggling to figure it out. They haven't had that, why did they do this thing? And the Urias thing, I think, is going to be another one of those. He's very I wouldn't bet my house on it, but I think he's very likely to go. We got some phone calls on it. We'll do that coming up in just a little bit.
Expensive house you have. I really would not do that.
It's all right.
I haven't seen it personally, nor have I seen the backyard, nor have I ever been there for a barbecue.
Well, maybe one of these days. We'll see. Probably not. Factor Cap coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. Hey, if you get hurt in an accident, call Sweet James, right? It is as simple as that. If you're hurt in an accident, car accident, trucking accident, motorcycle accident, dog bite, whatever it may be, you need to call the best attorneys in America, and that's exactly what Sweet James has been awarded. Personal injury, it's what they do. It's all that they do. Call Sweet James, 1-800-9-MILLION. How easy is that to remember? 1-800-9-MILLION. That's 1-800-900-0000. So if you call Sweet James, what do you get? Well, you get experience, nearly 20 years. You get the peace of mind that comes with knowing that somebody that's been doing it for this long, and they used to work for the insurance company, so they know the ins and outs of that business as well. That makes you feel good. And, of course, we're always talking about settlement. Over $1 billion collected in his nearly 20-year career. There's no other place to call. You call Sweet James. That's why I called Sweet James. That's why my friends have called Sweet James. Family members have called Sweet James. 1-800-9-MILLION. That's 1-800-9-MILLION. 1-800-900-0000 and sweetjames.com.
It's time for Factor Cap.
Oh, that's cap.
That's so cap, Dad.
Everything I've said is a cap, but I'm going to go fact.
First of all, it's not a cap.
It is a cap. Welcome to Factor Cap.
Hey guys. So Greg, I'm going to ask you this question because it is apparently really complicated for Taylor.
Okay.
So this is a question from Ask Taylor today. So win or you're done. Okay. The loser
Win
is
or I'm done.
Done.
Done
All
like
right?
isn't dead.
Yeah.
Dead.
Like
We're going morbid.
just a
Great.
very
Squid Games.
Life or death. So
very comfortable question on Twitter.
you have to have 3 options. Okay. You either do you have Travis in a chugging contest.
Okay.
Okay.
If you lose, you're dead.
Against me in trivia.
Lose and you're dead.
Or Alan hitting 30% of
41%. 3-point shooting, basically.
Yes.
So I
41.
have to go against all of you, and I have to win or I die.
Yeah, you
Yes,
have to pick
but-
one of
You
those
have to
three.
pick one.
3-point shooting contest against Slee.
Oh, you got no chance. You have no chance.
I've
Honestly,
watched
against
you.
me, it's trivia
You
so
watched
easy.
it. No, trivia, I'm terrible. So, but no, I mean, I'm pretty good at it, but not to the level of you.
Is it because you've already done that?
I've
as
already
well?
done. I've already done Travis.
Yeah.
and he beat the hell out of me.
There'd be the Greg Bergman Memorial.
Yeah,
Control
no, I'd
room.
be dead. I die. I already know. I already did die. So when it came to Emily, I know what she does. She does trivia every single week and is amazing at it.
Yeah.
Most likely, I would have a chance, but most likely, die.
Okay.
You are very good. I've actually watched you hit multiple 3-pointers in a row.
Yeah,
over
bad
and over
shooting
and over
night.
again. But you can
you could miss.
you can have a bad shooting night, and I could have a really good shooting night.
Who did Taylor pick?
Taylor took Travis.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Taylor wants that smoke.
You died.
I've got KG shooting range. You know, I can't shoot
KG's
threes.
not bad.
Yeah, I
plays in the paint.
he would know if he can shoot a basketball or not. I don't know.
Trivia would be close.
Yeah.
I think Emily
Tough.
might come out on top.
Yeah.
And I'm a pro drinker.
Goes
so-
after the champ.
Retired pro drinker.
Yeah, retired pro drinker.
I don't know why DeAndre's trying to come in here and try and challenge you. That was the dumbest thing ever. He's a big cheater.
Why would
anyway.
you say that's the dumbest thing
Because
ever?
it's stupid.
The man is trying to.
You're gutless.
He's trying to.
He is gutless.
He's trying to create something for himself
Yeah.
here. Let the man create something for
Like,
himself.
you don't
here.
understand.
Whenever-
You don't
whenever he's
understand
ready.
what's going on between DeAndre and I.
All right.
I tried to help out. Never mind. Okay, well, let's get
We'll
to
go to
Factor
Factor Cap.
because
All right.
I'm not happy with DeAndre.
We'll do this
Get in
later.
line.
So Rodrigo Blankenship is doing a tryout for the Buccaneers yesterday, and Rodrigo Blankenship and Baker Mayfield have history because Blankenship was the kicker for Georgia in the Rose Bowl, and Baker Mayfield lost that game because of Blankenship's performance. All right, so in that, and so Baker Mayfield went up to Blankenship and was like, "I still don't like you." All right, so the heat's still there. So sports grudges stick the longest. Travis, Factor Cap.
Cap. They can last a little while, but I think you can move beyond getting beat, right? The athletes, even the very best athletes, get beat, and it happens. And as long as it's on the up and up, you can live with it. Personal disrespect is different. If you do something to me that I think was dishonest, if you do something to a family member, if you do something to one of my friends that is really greasy and low, I'm carrying that around for the rest of my life. If you beat me in a game, I don't love it, but I can deal with it. You do something to me or my family or my friends, we're done.
Berg?
Yeah, I'm with Travis on this. It is Cap. Everything that I do in the sports, you beat me, I'm not going to be happy about it, but that's fine. But if you do something to me personally, I am going to remember it, like you said. And I might be fake with you and be like, "Oh, hey, what's up, man? So good to see you. Wow, it's really nice."
That's
to
exactly how he said
I
good
don't
morning to
like
me
you.
today.
I don't like you. It's very. I mean, it's you very much hold that grudge. It's true. There are people that I do that with now.
Al?
Guys, this is fact. Come on here. How many times have I mentioned Marlon McCree? I still have a grudge over Marlon McCree. How many times do I bring up Dean Spanos? How many times have you guys thought of players that you hate or
Jose
sports
Altuve?
moments where
Bradley
you
more
just
than Altuve, but close.
But you just go crazy when you think of it. I know there's the personal disrespect, but grudges in sports, they don't go away. They stay for. She hates Grayson Allen. That's never going to change.
Yes, and I also hate people I played against personally, like girls on soccer teams that I played against personally.
Aaron
that I
Rodgers, Russell Wilson. I mean, the list goes on this show. I say
Aaron
fact.
Rodgers and Russell Wilson are not sports related. They're personality related.
Yes.
All right, Taylor. Aaron Rodgers is a little sports fan.
Fact, yeah, I'm with Slee on this, and I think this is a kind of grudge that it's okay to hang on to. You know, it's not like it's going to eat you inside like one with
It
a
eats
family
me
would.
inside, but still.
I know, but the bitterness of a family grudge is something different. But the sports is kind of at the end of the day harmless.
What game was it? Kings Lakers with the referees? You're going to tell me you don't still
Shut
have
up.
a grudge?
Don't bring that up.
Of course he does.
But the whole thing is, I guess, for sports grudges, especially if it's not someone like you personally interacted with, like you didn't play the sport, like you won't see them. You probably will never have to interact with the person that wronged you. Therefore,
Yeah.
it feels a little more healthy.
I just talk about them on the microphone.
All right, so this was an issue. So I've been watching this show on Netflix called The Ultimatum, and this most recent season is like a queer ultimatum, so it's all women. And this one issue was this person hated the other person's dog, like hated the dog, didn't want to be around the dog.
What kind of dog was it?
I want to say it was like a husky, but like also didn't like the dog was in the bed.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the main thing.
Were they a couple?
So the whole thing about the ultimatum is like you're in a couple, someone gives an ultimatum, then you have a test relationship for 3 weeks, and then you break up. Anyway, so this is a test relationship.
Okay.
All right, so it's a deal breaker if someone doesn't like your animal. And Travis, imagine that you have an animal.
Okay.
Berg, Patrick Cap.
No, that's absolutely fact. If you don't like Lola, then you are out. It's done. Lola takes precedence over
might be the sweetest dog I've ever met.
Lola is so sweet and so kind and so wonderful. Greatest dog in the history of dogs. If you don't like Lola, you're out. Doesn't matter. You could be the most wonderful person in the world. You don't like Lola, you're not that person. So I'm 100% out on that.
Alan?
All right, I'm going to go Cap on this.
If they didn't like Rookie?
I'll tell you why.
Lady Slee hates him. Huh?
The question is not if they don't like your animal specifically, it's fact. But what if they just don't like animals? Like what if they just don't, and there's a lot of people like my mom.
Yeah, it's kind of worse.
No, let me use as an example. My mom is a perfect example. She doesn't want a dog inside the house. If the dog was outside and it was fenced and everything else, like that's how she views a dog. She doesn't want a dog in the house, on a bed, and everything else. I don't think it makes the person a bad person if they don't want that
She still
dog
likes the
inside.
dog, though, but she just doesn't want it inside.
Just
But
doesn't
she still
want it
likes
inside.
animals.
But she still likes the animal, or she likes the dog. But it's kind of the circumstance that comes with it.
Like
so
cleanliness.
it's not like the end of the world if somebody wants to live that way.
Trav?
I like people more than animals. If you don't like my dog and I like you, we'll get rid of the dog. It's fine.
Get rid of the dog.
Jesus, what the hell was that?
It's a dog. I'm
you
sorry,
doing
I don't
with the
feel it
dog?
like you guys do.
What do you do?
What the hell's going on here? What do you mean?
Yeah,
What do you say when you say get rid of the dog?
Anna's
What is
a
that?
hero over here.
What is get
We're
rid
not
of the
gonna
people
dog?
like the animal.
We're not
What
going to go
kind of
take it to a
human
house
are
in the
you?
country. We're not doing that, right? But a farm upstate, we're not doing that. If I found somebody that I was in love with, that I was crazy about, and they were like
God.
Al's mom and just said, you know what? I just don't like dogs. I'm really sorry. I love you.
Bye-bye.
Not me. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. We'll figure something
Steve
out.
Mason's going to hear this, and he's going to come in, and he's going to be so mad at you.
That's fine. Won't be the first time.
Taylor?
That liner of
dramatic.
just get rid of the dog.
Yeah.
The way you looked at everybody, it was like,
I'm
whoa.
fine.
It's
It's
like
it's not hard for me.
Lost a little
do the
get
chug
rid of
contest
the
against the
dog.
dog.
Jeez, Trav.
Taylor?
Slee, yeah, I get the outdoor animal thing. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. If somebody's not into my cat, then I don't know.
Or if it's just something that we're like,
But
okay.
they love the raccoon.
They love the raccoon.
Or it's like they can't be in the bed. So if you're like, I don't want this dog or cat in my bed, you'd be okay with being like, sure, we can have it outside.
It can
the
stay
bedroom.
outside. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
All right, so Vogue put out a job listing for a new position to be Anna Wintour's personal assistant. So if you don't know, the movie Devil Wears Prada is based off of Anna Wintour and her assistants. Essentially,
Good movie.
it's almost hellish to work for this person because of the demands there. But it also reminds me of Cousin Greg at the end of Succession when he's like, oh, you're the highest paid assistant in history at $200,000. You know, you got to do something. So you would be a personal assistant to a terrible person for the right price. Alan, Petra Cap.
Cap. I wouldn't be able to do it. I mean, if I'm miserable doing it, I know you could try to hide the money and just say, shut the hell up, you feel fine, go get me this, go get me that, here's the price. I'd just be miserable doing it. So I'd rather just not do it, get less money, and do something I like.
Trev?
So can I ask a question? Is this
You're
terrible
interested.
person terrible to me or just a terrible person?
They're really, really demanding and pretty terrible to
And they
you.
have a dog.
But they pay you so much
And a
money.
cat.
Like, theoretically, they pay you twice what you're making now.
So I've worked for somebody that was very, very, very demanding, that paid exceptionally well. But he wasn't a bad guy to me. He was tough. He was not great to a lot of people, but not so much to me. It was awkward to be around at times. It's tough to watch at times, but I wasn't the target of it particularly often. Yeah, I think I could do it. As long as to Al's point, if I was the target of the abuse every day, no. I don't think
be miserable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But if it's just, all right, I got to go in here for 9 hours a day and really keep my head down, and as long as I do my job, it's all good.
Yeah.
I don't think I could do it.
English manuscript of the Harry Potter books, like in Devilish Prada.
Right.
Berg?
Yeah, no, I can do it. I can absolutely do it if for the right price. I mean, it has to be a very large number, but I can absolutely do it. I can put my head down. I can absolutely do all that stuff.
Taylor?
Cap, I can barely run errands for myself. I don't know if I can handle that for somebody that's yelling at me constantly. I no amount of money for that.
I'm going to pay you $500,000 a year to get my dry cleaning. You're saying no?
It's for you, Trav?
That's for Slee.
Slee, even?
But every day, Slee, you bring Slee his shirts, and he's like, I didn't want any starch in these collars. And you
do it
make
again.
You go run
Throws
them again.
hot coffee in your face.
Yeah,
Right.
but if that's what it comes down to. You'll take the $500,000, but if it's just miserable and it's specifically towards him,
I don't think it'd
take
be-
the $500. By the way, you have
I'd do it for you guys.
Yeah,
I mean,
you'd have a good life.
If
So
he's
you're-
tossing 50s at you every time you do it, then it's going to work.
Cody,
Return this to CVS.
You make $500,000, but return these $20 sunglasses to CVS. I love it. I love it. All right, Jerry West, already one of the great Lakers of all time, maybe the greatest Laker of all time, and he may have climbed the list if that's even possible. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
all right, great event coming up this weekend. Sierra Subra Monrovia, who I've talked about, they do so much within the community. There's an event coming up this Saturday that I'm going to be a part of. I'm very, very excited, by the way, to be a part of it. Subaru of Monrovia is sponsoring Santa Anita's YMCA healthy cooking classes from Little Chef's Kitchen Adventures for young children ages 3 to 12. I'll be there. The event's at 10:30. I'm really looking forward to it. We also want to talk about just the unbelievable cars that the Sierra Subaru of Monrovia has. I just recently had the Ascent, which is their SUV, has 3 rows, room for up to 8 passengers, totally advanced, super safe. Took it out to Joshua Tree for a couple of days. Just a fantastic car. I'm going to throw out the website here. They've got a great commitment to the Subaru Love Promise. They also have a great, great brand. Visit SierraSubaru.com. See for yourself. Start your Subaru adventure today. SierraSubaru.com.
Dodgers, Alan Sliwa.
Because I'm tall and because I am a man of a certain carriage.
This is an alpha move. This is an alpha move right here.
Most back seats don't work for me.
Travis and Sliwa.
On 710 ESPN.
Little late. Ask Taylor here. This could be Ask Everybody in the Group. It's from Sam Kim from La Mirada. Says, what's the etiquette at a gas station when there are two pumps and the guy in front of you doesn't pull all the way up to the first pump and now you have to go around?
Oh, it's easy.
A little beep beep. Give him a little of that.
Yeah, if he's not already pumping, right? You just say, hey, you mind moving up a little bit? I've had that before where I've told somebody, like, yeah, sure. It didn't. Most of the time, they don't even realize that they did that, right? If they're already pumping and now I got to kind of go up and now I got to maneuver, it is what it is.
Are you guys, I think I just go around. I'm frustrated by it.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right,
Yeah, I'm not saying anything.
I don't think I am either.
Yeah, I try not to talk to people at gas stations ever.
Yeah, I'm so hesitant to engage nowadays, I'd rather
you never know what's coming next.
I'd rather just drive around.
Yeah.
That's what 30-second inconvenience.
Taylor?
I hold my
drive around for
hand
me.
on the honk. On the Yep, I hold it on there.
Double bird.
I throw a handful of pennies to get their attention.
Yeah,
And then I go from there.
What Tyler said, I think, is the thing. Like, it just seems like a lot of people are on edge nowadays.
It's just so dangerous
Seems like
out there,
things escalate quickly for
Is that how you guys feel?
for no reason. Stuff
Maybe
goes
I'm
out of
just in
control.
my own little world and I don't
I
feel
don't know.
that at
As a
all.
woman, anything can happen.
Little different for you, Em,
Yeah.
because like you said, it's
Like,
as a female.
The other
it's
night, I
different.
was pumping air into my tires or whatever, and someone.
Have you still not replaced those?
I'm gonna
No
skip
comment.
past that.
No comment. No comment.
My
But
dad mode is kicking in. Like the dad alarm is going off frequently. Go ahead. Sorry.
But I was putting air in the tires, and a man was trying to be very helpful and help me out. But I was like, nope, it's dark, late at night. I don't want you near me. I just don't. I appreciate the help, but I have right to be a little off put.
Yeah. Yes, you do. You do. But get some tires. We'll have a conversation. It bothers
Sure,
me.
fine.
We'll talk about something. I have an idea. All right, let's go to Gregory in Santa Barbara. Go Gauchos. What's up, Greg? How you doing?
What's up, fellas? I just wanted to touch on this Julio thing. Where did we go wrong with Julio, like the relationship, and why are we treating him like he's some ragtag, run-of-the-mill pitcher? Like, you can't find this guy's jersey anywhere. It baffles me as a Dodger fan, and I'm one of those Dodger fans that is upset about like how we're treating Julio. It's not like we got a bunch of starters that we can just replace him just like that. So I just don't understand where we're going wrong with him. One more quick thing. Sweet Tea.
Yo.
Tell them, when they come for the king, they bet not miss.
Best not miss.
I'm telling you.
Damn right.
They bet not miss.
So,
thank you, Greg.
So one thing that I will say, and this is, and Greg, appreciate you calling in. This is the one thing, I'll call myself an outsider on this one. I've never understood the Julio thing. I've never understood, because I always felt like, wait a minute, why is there, and maybe this just comes down to, there's so many good players that come up within the Dodgers organization that, but I can't even say that because Walker Buehler was not treated the same way that I thought Julio was treated. There's been other pitchers that have been a part of the Dodgers that have not been treated the exact same way Julio's been treated.
You're not wrong.
I've never understood it. Like, it's never I've never understood why you have not said, Julio, a year ago, we're locking you up, my brother. We're making sure that you're not going anywhere. Why even get to free it? Let's not even do that. Let's just make sure.
Let's take that off the table.
Let's take that off the table. Never understood it. None of it ever made any sense to me.
Well, I think you answered your own question last segment. I think I don't have to pay you yet. I'm not going to. Because I got Miller, I got Stone, I got the next crop of guys that are coming in. The same reason we didn't have to pay the guy before Julio, because we had Julio coming up, right? This is just kind of how it works. And
you don't want Julio to be a part of your organization for 5-6 more years?
Don't get me wrong. I think that they do, but this comes back to the thing that I've said ad nauseum, which is they do, but they want it on their terms. And I think that, to Greg's first question, that's the thing. That's where this, if there is a fracture in this, and I believe that there's something there. I couldn't put my finger on it exactly, but I think that's it. That we love you, but we love you this much, and we love you to a point, and we love you so much, but also we need you to be in the fifth inning in this game. And you didn't ask Clayton Kershaw to do that, and you didn't ask Walker Buehler to do that. And maybe the Dodgers are looking at it as, not as in a disrespectful way, but as in, you're the only one that can do this. We can't ask those other guys to do it. And maybe they mean that 100% sincerely. That doesn't mean it's not interpreted differently on the other end. It doesn't mean it's like, well, why am I treated differently than everybody else? I could mean no offense, but you could still take offense to it. And now where are we? It's you were offended by it. Okay, I didn't mean anything. Okay, maybe you didn't, but I'm still offended. And now it just kind of is out there. And I'm not saying that's what it is, but it could be that. And it could be just one of those, we love you, but we love you to right here. And we know that somebody's going to love you a little more for a little longer.
Nothing personal.
It's
just business.
Not personal to any of these guys on either side. Sometimes it gets personal when you get into Clayton Kershaw territory. Been here 15 years. You've won a bunch of Cy Youngs. You're an MVP. You're a deadlock cinch Hall of Famer. Greatest pitcher. Can we give him one more year? Yeah, go ahead and do that. But it's got to be at the right number.
Here's the problem with the Kershaw one. He's still delivering.
Oh, for sure.
So you're not paying Kershaw.
No. This is not bad money.
No, and that was the other thing I was going to say. Even if the Kershaw example is not the best example, because the real question with Kershaw is, what if he wasn't pitching well? What if he wasn't as dependent as he is?
They were at this point with Kershaw 5 or 6 years ago when they gave him the big deal, right? He's at the end, so we're going one by one, and he's got all of the accolades and the history and everything else. They're looking at this. What they're doing is, Kershaw is an incredible value, quite frankly, right now, because he's still really good at a relatively low price.
Agreed.
What they don't want is year 6 of the Julio deal, where he's making $40 million, and he's not a very good pitcher anymore. Yeah. And it's like, we knew it was going to happen. We let our emotions get the best of us. And they do not let the emotions get the best of them. They just don't. They're remarkably strategic.
I think what we said earlier is the best way to put it. The farm system allows them to do this, where other teams don't have the farm system and have to overpay for Julio.
Yeah.
Right? Is that the simple way of putting it?
I think that's a big part of it. I don't know that even if the minor league system weren't as chock full of as prospects as they have, I still don't think they do bad.
You don't think they'd feel the pressure to say, guys, we got to...
It would be turned up a little bit, but turned up to what point, I think, is almost impossible to figure out. More phone calls coming up on that. Plus, did Jerry West keep Kobe in L.A. even longer? Amazing. Jerry West is the master. It's all coming up. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. U.S. Open back in Los Angeles tomorrow, starting, of course. And to celebrate, Al and I are giving you a chance to win the ultimate luxury experience to Pacific Palms Resort. Here's how you can win. Call 877-710-ESPN. And right now, caller number 7 will win a $50 gift card to Red Restaurant, and you will qualify for the grand prize, which is a 2-night stay at Pacific Palms Resort, 2 rounds of golf, and dinner at Red Restaurant. Pacific Palms Resort, LA's Hilltop Hideaway and #1 work and play resort. Book your next getaway at PacificPalmsResort.com. Caller number 7 wins right now.
FM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
710 ESPN.
A Good Karma Brands radio station. 710 ESPN.
And here we go. It is your Wednesday right now. Travis Rogers, Alan Sliwa, Travis and Sliwa is on. We begin the 9-hour LA Sports Mega Block, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. each weekday.
Here we go.
Live from LA Live. Sweet Tea, Travis Rogers. Hit him in the face, Sliwa.
I'll still take the face.
Travis and Sliwa right now.
Yeah. Somebody was stealing your bit. I saw it on Twitter last night. I forget what it was, but somebody was kind of going through the whole, here, let's relive the great moments where Nikola Jokic was drafted and they played the Taco Bell commercial.
Oh, come on.
They're stealing your thing.
That was our thing.
No, I didn't even know it. That was your thing. Until you told me about it, I had no idea.
So the only reason why I knew it too, I think after he won the MVP, his first MVP, everybody just started going back and they're like on Twitter, can we just go back to when he was drafted? And it was just, there's no footage. It's just
I think it was a beefy, cheesy burrito commercial.
Quesarito.
Was it a quesarito?
Mm-hmm.
Looked good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We should have all
we
gotten
know the
quesadillas
item.
yesterday.
We know what it was. And then there's just this like ticker.
Jokic.
With the number
pick 42.
41 pick.
Was it 41?
Yeah, 41.
Don't bet against the fat boy.
And of course, that picture, of course, when do we know how old he is in that picture where he's sitting there? I think he's drinking a soda.
It's got to be like 12, 13,
yeah,
maybe, something like that.
He's a big 13-year-old, but he looks like a little boy. He is a little boy. He's just huge.
Also, the one where he's wearing the Nuggets shirt in Serbia.
That's
when
crazy.
he's a kiddo,
As a
that's
kid?
like super cute. Yeah.
I saw that yesterday
Love
for the
that.
first time.
As Laker people, we're going to have to deal with those guys for a few years. It's look, we thought the same thing with the Bucks a couple of years ago, but this feels a little different because Jokic's game is Jokic's game. He's the best player in the world, and the others are better than the Milwaukee others, and they're under contract. And guys like Murray are borderline superstar guys. Porter Jr. is a good player. KCP, perfect role player. Aaron Gordon has found the perfect role on that team.
Really nice role.
Like they got a coach that is ambitious, and he's not just going to crack
we got
my
one.
knuckles.
It's over.
It's funny. I don't think you probably saw it. So the head coach of the Vegas Golden Knights, they won the Stanley Cup last night.
Yeah.
And they were interviewing after. He goes, well, I'm in the club now, and they can never take it away from me, like a Stanley Cup winning head coach, which, cool. That's a very normal thing. But it wasn't, hey, we're just getting started. It was, I've reached the mountaintop. Yes, right? And I totally get it. Michael Malone's message was, here are the 4 stages of a team. No one takes you seriously. You're developing. You're a threat. You're a champion, and they're a dynasty. Well, we just got champion. Dynasty is next. Like, this was very Pat Riley-esque where this is great. We love it, but we're not finished yet.
So a couple things stand out. Let's just take what you just said. Is he saying that if he's with an aging team that has no contracts that are, you use the example, 2020 championship Lakers. Okay, is Rondo going to go get some money? Is he at the end of his career? Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee, Danny Green. There are a lot of players that are like, all right, what are they going to do with this team?
Yeah.
This is a squad, and I mentioned this when we were at the Mandy's. Afterwards, drinking with a couple of the listeners, and one guy said he's a Heat fan, and he's like, hey, what do you think about whatever it is we're talking about? I'm like, listen, every game they've played, even after they beat the Lakers, they're up 3-0. Jamal Murray said 5 to go. Even after they're up 3-1 on the Miami Heat, they kept saying 1 to go, 1 to go. None of them, even after they won the championship, it looked like a regular season game. The way Jokic was just going, Udonis Haslem, how are you? Yeah, they acted as if they've been there before. They acted as if they're going to be a problem for a number of years. And Trav, you know what? They're going to be a problem for a number of years. They are. I don't know how much this means something to you too. Kroenke being there as the owner of the team and having as much success that specific owner has had now in a number of different sports over a short period of time. Kroenke does not look like an individual that, hey, I just own the team and the value keeps going up and I'll figure out whatever to do down the road. He's trying to win.
No, he's not milking it for value. He's milking it for titles.
Did you see his quote? He had a quote, and it was about Les Snead, about the F them picks, and they were comparing the Denver Nuggets and the Los Angeles Rams, how these two squads did it. One said F them picks, and the other one said, we need every one of those picks, and that's how they developed it. And he had some type of quote where Kroenke's basically saying, we knew that was going to expire with the Rams, that we can't keep saying that anymore. They got theirs, they did it a certain way, but now they're going to value all these picks and try to rebuild it.
So I'm glad you brought that up. It brings up an interesting thought. Because Kroenke has teams all over the place, right? He's got the Rams here in Los Angeles. He's got 2 Denver teams. Avalanche won the Stanley Cup. Arsenal in the EPL. Obviously,
his fantasy
the Nuggets.
league.
He's got a lacrosse team. He's got an MLS team. Like he's got his fingers in.
I think
just
he has
about
a video game.
He does.
Game
he has an
group.
esports team.
Yeah.
He does.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's got everything, and they're all either champions very recently or they're very good.
Or competing.
Right?
Yep.
Competing. Is he the best owner in sports? Because what you just said, I did not see that quote about that, but I think that kind of illustrates something really interesting. Because what he does, he just finds somebody to run it. That doesn't mean there's one, I do it this way. We just go for it like the Rams and F them picks and we're all in all the time. He did that, and it worked. He entrusted Sean McVay and Les Snead to build that team together. And then with the Nuggets, the exact incredibly patient, incredibly slow build. And no, we're not going to get rid of Jokic. We're not going to trade Murray. We're not going to panic because Murray missed a couple of years because let it cook, let it bake. I don't know enough about hockey to know which lane he picked to go build the Avalanche. I just know that they just won the Stanley Cup. I mean, that can't be a coincidence that there are multiple
Who's
past
competing
titles.
with him?
Well, the Dodger Group is a great ownership group because they hired Andrew Friedman and said, go do it.
And they have all the resources, but are still smart with every dollar. We just spent a half hour talking about Julio. But here's the problem with Ballmer.
Ballmer's got all the money, but there's not a lot of fruit on that
That doesn't necessarily mean, look, that's the thing that, I'll use that example with the Dodgers. Dodgers have all the money. You got we were just talking about, I'm like, hey, isn't it cool to go to a Dodger game on a Tuesday night? You're like, oh, there's still going to be 35,000 people there, and it's still going to be tough to get at Dodger Stadium. That's on a Tuesday night.
Right.
The product is good. They do win. They know how to crop this. They have money, but they're smart. Even if Ballmer, which I do look at Ballmer as the guy wants to win, and he has every resource in front of him, and he just decided, here's $400 million. Let's get that litigation out of the way. I'm building a stadium right here, and he's going to do what he does. But that doesn't necessarily mean he's a good owner in cropping an NBA champion.
I think he's been unlucky. And I think he should be on the list of this discussion because what you just said, get that form thing out of here. Here, scratch stick, done. So we can build our own place, so we can create our own identity.
Here's
right?
a suitcase.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just I'm not going to get caught up in. Well, I don't want to. It's like no, just get it off my plate. I'm done. I don't want to do that anymore. When it was,
I love the casual. It's so
right.
true.
It's exactly
so
what
true.
it was. It was just when just pay the just here, take it. Just we're done. You're done. Okay, I never want to see you again. Just go away. Perfect. He went in big, Slee. He went in big on Kawhi. He went in big on Paul George. He went in big on Ty Lue. Like he's gotten the right. He's been a little unlucky. Those guys have gotten hurt. Kawhi is Kawhi for whatever that means. That he hasn't cheaped out on a coach. He hasn't cheaped out on stars.
The front office. You don't have a salary cap in the front office.
That's what I mean. He goes out and he does it. It hasn't worked. I think you can be a really good owner and have it not work. Then you look around, you got Artie Moreno down in Anaheim. I don't know if anybody's making an argument that he's the best guy in town.
Yeah.
You've got a team, the Lakers have 40-plus years of history of bus ownership that has shown a whole bunch of success along the way. Dr. Bus, obviously, whatever it was.
But the question I think always comes up is how sustainable is it?
Right.
Is in 5 years, what's it look like?
Right. But look, Jeannie has a championship, right?
She does have a championship.
And
a Western Conference Finals.
Conference Finals last year. They're going to be pretty good again. They spend money on stars. They don't cheap out on players. The fan experience at Crypto.com is terrific. Like they're really good at it. But that other dude builds a $6 billion stadium that's just the place. They win.
And what is that? You tell me how you define best owner in sports, because he's doing it in multiple sports.
All of them, basically.
Think about that.
Yeah.
I think the only team he doesn't have is a baseball team.
Yeah.
Doesn't have a Major League Baseball team. Not only doing it in
I'm only kind of kidding.
I know. Not only doing it in multiple sports, but LA is transformed by SoFi.
Sure.
Some people are going to say, no, Al, come on. You got the Rose Bowl, the Coliseum, the this, the that.
100 years old.
The Olympics are coming to LA because of SoFi.
The World Cup.
The World Cup is coming because of SoFi.
Could host the finals in SoFi.
That was one dude saying, how much does it cost? We were talking about the A's earlier, that you need big-time pockets to make things happen. I told you about this story yesterday, and this could potentially transform a city he has no connection to in San Diego. He has a 95% owner of the sports arena that we talk about, has a 48 acres plot of land to build a 16,000-seat stadium. Maybe that brings a professional team there. Maybe it does. I have no idea, but that's.
I don't think he's building it to not put a professional.
Of course,
team in
he's
there.
not doing it so Taylor Swift can play. Like that. That's not going to happen for a concert. But I mentioned all
Not
that.
big enough for Taylor Swift.
It's really, really not big enough. Not even
5
close.
sold-out shows.
Right.
I don't know how we make an argument for somebody else, and I hadn't even thought about it, but just us talking
when
through.
I saw him on the floor with the Nuggets the other night, and then I was doing my Rams podcast, and we were talking about Stan Kroenke today, and Locked on Rams available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
Monday through Friday, by the way.
But it was one of those. It's hard to make an argument because he's got all the money. He's not reactionary, and the other thing that I think is incredibly valuable, he doesn't get involved until it's time to get involved, right?
Yeah, he ain't Jerry Jones.
He's not Jerry Jones. He's not Dan Snyder. He's not even Mark Cuban. I think Mark Cuban's a pretty good owner, but I bet you if you just took 5 guys that all were kind of roughly the same age as Stan Kroenke and said to the sports fans here in LA, which one's Stan Kroenke? Not everybody's picking him.
Yeah, you're right.
Not everybody's picking him, right? So I think that there's a lot of value in that, okay, I believe that Kevin Demoff, Les Snead, and Sean McVay are the 3 people I need to run a successful football team. Here you go. Go do it. Bam. Results. I believe that Michael Malone, I don't know the name, the general manager of the Nuggets, but we're going to put that together. That you guys, go do it. Bam. It hits. The Avs. Bam. It hit. That's
the Arsenal thing too is a big deal.
I think they finished second.
That's as powerful as a Premier League team that you're going to get.
I think they finished second. I'm not a soccer person, but I believe that they finished second. What's an argument against?
Damn.
SoFi's nice.
I hadn't really thought of it that way, nor have I really. I mean, listen, because the Nuggets won. I remember it was Lakers playing the Nuggets, and it was Game 3 here at Crypto, and I saw Michael saying, "Hey, look, there's Kroenke," and I'm like, "Oh yeah." Like I'm not thinking of who's the Nuggets owner on a game-to-game basis. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. And then you just kind of put the pieces together, and they win again. And like you said, he's holding up the trophy. It's like, wait a minute. This guy is connected to so much success here in such a short period of time, and it's different freaking sports.
And different philosophies to get to the title, right? Look, I don't know. But there's no possible way somebody gets that lucky that often in a short period of time, right? They're just. It couldn't just be like, yeah, look, you own all these teams. Eventually, you're going to win a championship in something. But they've all won a championship in the last 2 years. That's not luck. That's by design. Crazy.
I know. Nuggets had it won in 40+ years or whatever the case is, but they have a sustainable. The conversation started because we're saying, hey, is this basically just got to go through the Denver Nuggets over the next 5 years? You might have to go through the Denver Nuggets over the next 5 years.
And I don't think the Rams are going to win the Super Bowl this upcoming season. They're not. But the Rams will be in the mix again soon, right? This is not going to be the Rams won the Super Bowl in 2021. They haven't been good in 9 years. That's not going to happen. They're going to be good again.
And even if that was the case, you won a Super Bowl. I mean, it's the reality.
Like I would bet that the Rams are back in the NFC Championship at least at some point in the next 6 years.
They will be in the playoffs regularly in the next year.
Which is all you could ask for.
Yeah.
And in the playoffs.
You're in the mix. You're in the mix. All right, more Dodger calls we want to get to. Plus, I want to play that Jerry West sound for you. That's all coming up. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. AutoZone has the free services that you need to help you get back on the road, like their free AutoZone Fix Finder service. The AutoZone Fix Finder service not only identifies the check engine light code, but it also helps identify the most likely cause of the check engine light being on. The information provided by the free AutoZone Fix Finder service is verified by data from over 5.5 million ASE certified technicians, and with over 5,600 locations nationwide, AutoZone's here to help you save time and money with their free services. Getting the job done just got easier. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Sliwa.
On 710 ESPN.
So, Emily, I think for maybe the first time ever, you and I might be watching the same thing on Netflix at the same time.
Let's go.
That quarterback show that they're going to launch looks amazing.
Yeah, it looks like it's so interesting because I do think that like NFL Films across the board, I believe, does a really good job at capturing like the camera work. It's always spectacular, but sometimes in the most recent years, Hard Knocks kind of wears on you. Like, you know, you kind of understand the formula every time you go through it. This is something that's brand new for them, and it looks like they have amazing access.
The access is unbelievable. So what it is, it's Netflix is going to have a documentary. It's called Quarterback, and they follow 3 quarterbacks through last season, right? And it's Patrick Mahomes, Kirk Cousins.
Super Bowl winning Patrick Mahomes.
Yep. Kirk Cousins and Marcus Mariota who's on the Falcons last season. And here's why the trailer's amazing. If you like football, if you like sports, you watch the trailer, you're going to be 100%
So many
in.
memes are going to come out of this.
It's terrific. But the part that I loved about it, Sleep, you've got the very best guy at that job, Mahomes. You've got a guy that's had a really nice career in Kirk Cousins, but is not a megastar. He's kind of almost exactly the middle of the pack.
And a little quirky.
NFL quarterback. Little quirky, little corny and dorky, but kind of in an endearing sort of way.
Will probably at some point make your heart happy because he's probably a very sweet man.
And then you got a guy that's an NFL bust who's probably on the verge of getting flushed out of the bottom of the NFL. Remember, he got sent home at the end of the Falcons season last year because they decided to go with, was it Ritter, the guy that they put in there instead? And they basically said, okay, you're the backup. He says, I'm not a backup. Hell no, I'm out of here. And he just bounced. So they've got the 3 different levels of that superstardom, middle of the road, and a guy that's barely hanging on.
I think that's very, very unique because you're going to see perspectives that are so odd, so widely different. And you're going to learn something about, forget the Mahomes thing for a second. He is the best. We know a lot about Patrick Mahomes. If he's on a Sunday and the game's at 1 o'clock, I'm watching Patrick Mahomes.
But you need to know his workout routine, what he does in the gym, how he is as a father, that kind of stuff too.
But sometimes it's the other players that you don't know that much about or have to face the struggle or don't have that big contract or tomorrow's not guaranteed. That's a really wide array of caliber players. I like that.
Some of the footage that they had in it too, I think kind of gives you an insight to just how damn hard it is to be good at that. Like some of the video, and if it's even remotely close to the access that they got for Drive to Survive, the F1 show, which basically launched a new professional sports league in this country. I know F1's been around forever, but nobody here cared about it. Now we've got 3 races, and it's a huge deal. The access they got to the Full Swing with PGA Tour, with the Live split and all. I mean, they were in the middle of it. By the way, season 2 of Full Swing, they're in the meetings when Live and PGA come back together. So they are like deeply embedded, unbelievable access. If they have access, like it's going to be terrific because they nailed those 2 shows. And
it's coming out July 12th, which means that it's the perfect time between not really much sports is going on. You're gearing for the season.
I was just going to say, you're about 30 days away from NFL's coming back. You're starting to kind of get that buzz.
It's going to be so good. I'm so excited. But yeah, the memes are going to be amazing. I can't wait. But the only thing is, it's really going to test my patience and my ability to hear Patrick Mahomes talk.
Is it just the voice?
It's just the voice. I can't do it for 12 hours, but
obviously they're picking the best stuff, but in the trailer it's like, he's got let's say a unique voice, but I'm like, more give me. I want more of what he's saying because he's arguing with Andy Reid on the sideline. He's talking to the guys on the Raiders, and they're bumping heads, and he's running his mouth. Patrick Mahomes is very gracious, but it's like, dude, he's a competitor.
He was mic'd up for every game. It seems like it seems that every game it was mic'd up. Same for all these guys.
That's
It'll be
awesome.
Really interesting. And then also,
I didn't know he chirped like that. That's amazing.
Is he starting the chirp, or is somebody chirping to him, and he's coming back?
Who cares, right? Honestly, it's just one of those that he's in it. He's competing. It's like, I'm trying to kick your ass, and I'm going to give it. It's so good.
Rams will be on it twice for both Mariota and for Mahomes because they played them both this year.
Yes,
Mariota was early in the season, and Mahomes was late in the season.
I'm in. I'm sold.
It's going to be great. Let's try phone call here. Let's go to Ramon in Chino. Ramon, you're on with Trav and Slee. What's up?
Hey, Sweet Tea and host of the year, Sliwa. Thank you for having me here on. I had a couple points to make about the whole Julio thing.
Yeah.
I think one thing that no one really has ever talked about is he's been in the Dodgers organization since he's been a kid, like 14. I think since he's like 14, 15 years old. They brought him along like pretty much in bubble wrap, so not to injure his arm. He's never really shown his personality really until he got the final out of the World Series, and that was their mistake, is not really doing anything to really promote him along at that time. But I hope they are able to re-sign him, even if it does cost more money. Just because he does deserve it, and realistically, they don't have. I mean, they have some young pitching coming up, but Bobby Miller was the best pitcher in their was
farm
the best
system.
prospect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in the farm system, because I'm not impressed by Stone. I'm not impressed by Pepio. I'm not impressed by Grove. The next really guy that's big is a Sheehan, and they didn't want to bring Bobby Miller up this year. They wanted to wait another year still.
Yep.
They're so thin at starting pitching. To let him go would be such a big mistake.
Okay, couple of things here. Yeah, but not really. So I want him to stay too, but I wrote it down when you said it, Ramon, because I think it's interesting. You said, even if it costs more, I want him to stay. What you just said is exactly what they don't do. It is literally, it's the line in the sand with that organization.
Exceptions to the rule?
There are a few, but not many.
Mm-hmm.
There are a few,
and
but
he's
they're
not one of them.
It doesn't feel like it. It doesn't sound like
I agree.
it.
I don't agree with don't do it. I agree with I don't think they will do it.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think that they will do it. And like Ramon just said, Bobby Miller is a little earlier than in a perfect world they probably would have liked to bring him up. But the fact that Ramon knows and I know and you know that Stone, Pepio, and Grove are kind of their minor league. Do you know the three best pitchers on the Padres AAA team? I don't. No. Because these guys have pitched in the major leagues and have had some level of success. That hasn't been great. But a guy like Gavin Stone, by all accounts, is going to be a very, very good major league pitcher. Ryan Pepio is going to pitch in the major leagues. They have major league quality guys. So are they going to be good as Julio? Probably not. But they're going to cost a fraction as much for relatively close production. The fact that they have not only those guys in AAA like we're talking about, they also have the best AA pitching staff of the 30 baseball teams in major leagues. It's a well that is not even close to running dry. And that idea of I got to pay them more, somebody will. It just won't be the Dodgers.
So I mentioned this, I think last week. I saw something. Ken Rosenthal was doing something on Twitter, and he was breaking down. He's like, forget about who they just brought up from the AAA. The AA that you were talking about, he's like, look, they're more excited about who they have in the AA than they do of whoever's already come up or who's in AAA.
Right.
And I couldn't even understand that. And he had 6 different pitchers that were lined up, and it was showing their ERAs and everything else. I'm like, what are you talking about? What do you mean they have in the double? They're more excited about the kids that they have there than the kids that they've already kind of shown some major league promise.
To give you an idea too, it's the hardest thing to find and the most important thing to find are pitchers, right? That's the backbone of every baseball team that's ever been constructed. Not only do you need enough, you need more than enough because guys are going to get hurt. It's the way it goes. The second hardest thing to probably find are catchers. They have, if Will Smith isn't the best catcher in the major leagues, he's real close.
Yep.
Their number one prospect that's not Will Smith that is not Bobby Miller is a guy named Diego Cartaya, who is a young guy who's a catcher who every team in baseball would trip over to go get.
And everybody knows.
Everybody knows. And oh, wait. Dalton Rushing is the next catcher who most baseball people think is better than Cartaya.
And Austin Barnes isn't terrible.
No, and he's not. We're not done yet. Kyber Ruiz was the guy that got you Trey Turner and Max Scherzer, another catcher. So the second hardest thing to find. Most teams have zero. Look at your Padres. They can't find a guy to catch for that team.
Yep.
It's a black hole for them offensively. Dodgers have 4 guys that are major league caliber.
I don't know. Gary Sanchez is kind of popping off in San Diego right now.
Good luck with that.
That is ridiculous.
But also,
what's happened.
Also,
do you know what he's done
about?
since he's gone there?
Smoking hot,
which is going to change.
Yeah.
But even yesterday, hit another 3-run over. He has 6 home runs in
he's popping off.
2 weeks.
This is why and this all comes back to Julio, which is it's not just everybody loves Julio. Julio's really, really good. That's not the point. It's somebody's going to offer him a number that's going to be nutso. Julio should and will take it. And the Dodgers say, yeah, we're okay.
The Cartaya thing's an interesting one. and the reason why I say everybody knows him, you shouldn't know who the Will Smith is such an amazing catcher for the Dodgers.
2 more in the minor leagues.
And we know him enough to where there's already articles in the LA Times saying, what's the future plan with this guy? You keeping him? You not? You this? You that? But that's just to kind of show.
Will Smith is going to be Julio Urias in a couple of years. It's going to be one of those, okay, we're going to offer you, but we got 2 more guys back here that are a
Don't forget about
fraction
Connor Wong, too. Another catching prospect that the Dodgers were easily going to ship off.
They're just
so
got a
deep.
formula. It works. They don't deviate from it very often. And the guys that they did pay, Freddie might win the MVP this year.
It's like you with chugging. You never miss.
Not yet. We'll see. I'm not worried
I got
about DeAndre.
all my money on
write that down,
DeAndre back there.
How much?
All my money.
How much?
I'm
Let's go.
busy. I'm
Right
trying
now.
to talk to DeAndre right now.
He gave it all to Cody on Monday.
No. If you're betting on DeAndre, I'm
Lost a
gonna
lot of
double-
money on Monday.
I'm going to double up. I'm betting on myself. So whatever you put down, I'm putting twice.
A lot of
I don't
money.
sweat him.
I will bet.
Winner survives.
I have to wait because DeAndre is going to go through his training. He's got a really, really strict training plan.
Why you should have kept the robe
Coming.
so we could walk out in the robe, but it's fine.
That's fine. Just let me know when, and I'll take both
Okay,
of your money.
I'll let you know.
I'll take
Got a
both
lot of
it.
money on Burke too. A lot of money on a lot of people around here.
I really
Matt Burke,
want you to bet.
not
I want you to
Burke.
put your money where your mouth is. If you believe this is going to happen, let's go. Because I could use a new car.
Why do you have to throw money into it?
You did. I didn't. You started.
That's right. I said I have a lot of money on him, and you said how much. That's right. That's right. That was on me.
You don't even listen to yourself.
That was on me.
I like this. I like this a lot. All right, we're doing it. I promise. Jerry West kept Kobe from the Grizz. Of course he did, because he's a Laker. That's next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. Hey, if you get hurt in an accident, sorry, it sucks, and it's scary, and it's confusing, and all of those things, but you need to know what to do next, and what you need to do next are call the accident attorneys at Sweet James. 1-800-9-MILLION. 1-800-9-MILLION. That's 1-800-900-0000. And when you make that call, what you get is a firm like Sweet James that has the experience, nearly 20 years, a winning record helping injured victims get the medical care that they need with life-changing settlements. And so what does a life-changing settlement mean? Well, in those nearly 20 years, he's collected over $1 billion. Sounds like a pretty good track record to me. Over $1 billion. They've been awarded best attorneys in America, and I can speak to it firsthand. After my family members have been involved in accidents, I've called Sweet James. The peace of mind that comes along with it, the expertise, just the calmness of the whole thing, it's incredibly reassuring. So do what I've done. If you're hurting a motorcycle, a car, a truck, a bike, a dog bite, whatever it is, call the accident attorneys at Sweet James. 1-800-9-MILLION. That's 1-800-900-0000 and sweetjames.com.
710 ESPN.
So Bradley Beal apparently is at least available for conversations with the Wizards. They're opening to it. There was the conversation that the Pelicans are considering. They want to move up in the draft. They want to move up near the top.
Go after Scoot
Henderson, who seems to be the consensus number 2 pick, maybe number 3. And that Zion, in a certain deal, may be available right there. We'll get to that in a second. But it just kind of brings us back to Jerry West and the Kobe thing. That Kobe was thinking about, he wanted...
This was after Lakers lost to the Pistons in the finals, right?
And Jerry West was in Memphis and was running that team, and he wanted to come play for Jerry and the Grizzlies, and this is what Jerry had to say about that.
He became a free agent, and his agent then was Rob Pelinka. So I met them in Orange County in a hotel room, and he said he wanted to come to Memphis and play basketball. Really? And I looked at him, I said, "You kidding me?" And he said, "No." And I said, "Kobe, no. You belong somewhere out here, okay?" And even though he would have never played there, I just wanted to reassure him that don't feel like you have any obligation with me or the Grizzlies to play here. I guess in some sense that might have been tampering. I didn't look at it tampering because he was at our house all the time. He ate at my house all the time. I felt more like a father figure with him. I had a wonderful relationship with him. Forget it as a basketball player. I love what he stood for, his commitment to excellence. He wasn't afraid of failing. Once you get afraid of failing, you're going to fail. He was not afraid.
That's interesting. You know, I saw the quote. I hadn't heard the audio of it. Man, something, too, about these long-form podcasts, too, where you could just, it kind of opens up, sparks conversations that have never been there.
Every time he goes on one, we get another nugget.
You're right.
Every time he goes like, wait, what happened? Remember when he said anybody but Donald Sterling? That one was from, a year or so ago?
That's right.
Every time he's like, wait, what? He's amazing.
So kind of take yourself back to that moment, that situation. Kobe looked like there was a good chance Kobe might not be a Los Angeles Laker. I remember, I've said this before, I will say it again. I remember at that time, people were saying, hey, Kobe or Shaq.
Yeah.
I was picking Shaq.
Me too.
I was on that side of,
Me too.
No, Shaquille O'Neal is the most dominating player. He gets along with other players. Stars will want to come play with him.
And the bigs were the thing at the time.
Bigs were the thing, and I just kind of, I had a difficult time thinking in my mind, Kobe Bryant is going to lead your team. Yeah. He's too... selfish. And to kind of hear that quote from Jerry West of saying, you ain't coming to Memphis. What are you talking about coming to Memphis?
I want to put that aside for a second.
Okay.
Yes, to all of that. The general manager of the Grizzlies said, dude, you don't want to do this. To getting, he knew what he had more than anybody else. He's the guy that brought him to L.A. in the first place.
He's the one that hit him in that workout.
Yes. Had Jerry West's legend been created in Chicago or Boston or New York with the Knicks, it's like, yeah, but that he was a Laker and understood the Lakers, understood Kobe, understood the value of wearing that jersey of that team. Every other general manager in the universe would have been all right, let's get to work on this.
Sounds
let's
good.
figure out how to get this done. You want to be here? I want to have you. I know. Let's go. And he's like, no, you don't. Think about the, I don't know if it's character. I don't know what it is. Empathy, something to just say, I understand that you want out for reasons right now, but hold on a second. You really need to think this through. That he had the wherewithal to say, Kobe, pump the brakes on this for a second. Let's talk about this and not just, let's get this done
He did
tonight.
something that doesn't happen often in life. He did something that was in the best interest of Kobe. He did not do what was in the best interest of himself.
Yeah.
And I think maybe when he says that, hey, I think it was tampering, but the guy was always at my house having lunch, all this stuff. I think maybe that personal relationship, sometimes, you can have a relationship with somebody and it is in your best interest if they did something that, whatever the case is, but you have such a close relationship with them, you're like, no, I want to look out for you. I'm not trying to look out for me in this situation. And that's basically what Jerry West was doing. You know what happened 4 years later?
They won again.
He traded Pau Gasol from the Memphis Grizzlies to the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah. I mean, if you're the Grizzlies, don't you feel a certain way about that?
The only reason why not, I'll tell you the only reason why not. They had opportunities with Pau. There was there was individual success. There
No,
really
I'm not
wasn't.
talking about the Powell portion. I'm talking about the Kobe portion.
Oh,
the
Kobe
We
portion.
had a chance to get him, and
Yeah.
we chose not to. We talked him out of it. Okay. So I mentioned it. I'm going to be out there all day on Friday. Chris is out at Los Angeles Country Club right now, site of the U.S. Open, which begins tomorrow. Are you going to be doing live updates all week long from the golf course, Chris?
Is it Chris or Chris Morales, or just Morales?
Which would you prefer, Chris?
I mean, we want a brand. It could just be your next door neighbor, Chris, who cleans up your
How
yard.
about
I think
CM?
people know who I'm talking about.
No, not CM. It's either CMM or Morales. Let's just do that. Just Morales is out at LA Country Club, where we are live.
Nice
Trav.
to talk to you, Chris. How you been? How are things out there?
Producer Lindsay and I are out here watching a little of the practice round. We are live from the media center right now. We ran into your friend Adam Hawk. He said, "Where's Trav?"
Coming out
said he's on
Friday.
the air. I said he'll be here Friday. He said, "Okay, I'm going to try to avoid him." I said, "No, don't do that."
No, that's you.
But yes, we will be providing top of the hour every hour
Awesome.
on Thursday and Friday leaderboard updates. Slee. By the way, hi Slee, host of the year.
What's going on, Christopher Morales?
There we go. There we go. Thanks to our friends at Pinehurst, we'll be making these leaderboard updates possible. So we'll bring you all the sights, the sounds, the funk, and the noise. And by the way, Pinehurst, your site of the 2024 U.S. Open.
How does it look, Chris?
The walk is very tough.
This
isn't Riv, my friend. This is up and down. I feel like I've done like a stair stepper for all 9 hours, and we've only walked one hole.
It's that bad?
Oh boy. Homeboy, you better have those good shoes on
I was
Friday.
just going to ask, like, am I doing like running shoes? Am I doing Vans? What am I doing?
Running shoes and a cane.
Sherpa?
Get that thing at Walmart where you could get like a cart. You just get the actual
Like the Wally
electric
cart?
scooter thing, like
Trav,
the whole thing.
It's like rock climbing. We might have to strap each other to each other, and you pull, and then I pull the next hole.
You bring the carabiners, I'll bring the ropes, and we can pull each other up the side of the fourth hole.
And it's absolutely
Is it that
beautiful.
bad?
No, but it's a beautiful. I mean, you're in the middle of Century City. How wonderful is this?
Yeah.
We would never be allowed here if it wasn't for the U.S. Open, the 123rd edition. We don't know how we're going to get back to our car because we took a shuttle and they purposely took a different route so we wouldn't know what part of Los Angeles we're not allowed in.
Yep.
It's like a rendition that they're driving.
They drove us from they drove us from the mall to Venice and then back, and hopefully they're just not paying attention anymore.
Put a blindfold on you, spin around 3 times, load you into the van.
They went 35 miles to get from there.
I can't wait
And
to see it.
We lost our owner, Sam Pines, on the way. We don't know where he's at. So hopefully we'll find him at some point.
Hopefully he turns up before too long. That's awesome.
But it's absolutely stunning. For those of you that are coming out here, it's going to be an incredible moment to watch the U.S. Open back in Los Angeles and at LA Country Club. Slee, I wish you were coming out Friday as well in that robe that you wore the other day.
Yeah, that robe's not currently in my possession right now.
We heard. It came up
Yeah.
in a meeting because think about this idea. If you've ever been to a presidential library, like the Reagan Library, they have the suit that he gave, the Tear Down This Wall speech, in a shrine, basically. We want to put Mason's outfit from the Mandy's in a case.
I like that.
And put it in the lobby. And this just says Steve Mason wore this suit at Mandy's too. And we wanted to do the same thing with your robe, but apparently it's already been returned and in the hands of
I
somebody
can find a
else.
way to get it back. I can find a way to get it back. Yeah,
How's the show been, guys, on the day 72 of No Sports?
Pretty good.
No?
I mean, I think so, Al.
I think I'm not gonna. I don't want to, be a little dramatic here. It's probably the best show Travis and I have ever done. That's how good it was, and you should go back on the pod and take a quick listen for 3 hours.
Of course, you can get our podcast at the all-new ESPN LA app. Just search ESPN LA in your app store or Google Play. Download, tap. I can't do it here, guys, but bam.
Bam!
Bam. Yeah, very muted. It's a golf bam. It's a golf bam. DeAndre challenged me to another shotgun contest at the All-Star game.
Hold on, there's a helicopter flying over. They may know we're here.
They're coming to pick you up. DeAndre has no game. He's trying to get
He wants to chug with you?
Oh, no, it's not even – he did a video at the Mandy's calling out Trav. I mean, he's ready to go.
Yeah, but you got 150 pounds on DeAndre. What do you – you're going to destroy him.
I saw the video. I saw the video. DeAndre's going to demolish him.
Slee doesn't get it, but that's fine.
Travis, at your age,
yes,
and at your cut, you might want to fast before you come out here on Friday. It's rough out here.
So getting ready, reading stuff about it, it was the number one theme was always you're going to be shocked at how hilly it is.
Oh my God, yes.
And so you're not filling me with confidence that I'm going to be able to do, because I'm going to get there early. I'm going to try to do like a double day,
like to stretch
the
and
early
everything.
morning rounds, the late afternoon rounds. I'm not going to make it for 8+ hours, am I?
No, there's no way. Lindsay right now is trying to figure out how we could steal one of these carts.
What's the food situation looking like?
Well, in the media center, it's beautiful. I just had a nice bratwurst, a nice like prime rib sandwich.
Well, no wonder you can't walk the golf course.
Jeez, that sounds amazing.
No, this was after crawling here after one hole. So,
well, good luck. I hope that you survive the ride back to wherever it is you left your vehicle. And
we don't know.
We'll see. I don't know
it's
if you'll
somewhere
have
on the
updates
west side.
Not tomorrow.
Emily loves picking people up. She'll go anywhere.
She does.
Give me a quick ride to Central
Got
City
your
in the
back.
morning. All right.
So what time are you going to do your update story? Is it once an hour?
Yeah, once an hour beginning at 10 a.m. It starts at tomorrow, thanks to our friends at Pinehurst, pinehurst.com, for an amazing golf getaway that will remind you of the U.S. Open every day.
Right on. Thank
there
you,
we go,
friend.
guys. Take the rest of the day off, okay? Bye.
Thanks, Chris.
Bye.
All right, bye.
He's like, take the rest of the day off starting at 1:12.
Yeah, well, look, I was told I could take the rest of the day off. You can do the dump, and then you already got your headphones off. Not a bad deal. The dump is coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. Hey, you looking for that new Silverado? And why not? They're absolutely unbelievable. There's really only one place to go check it out, and that's at Rotolo Chevrolet in Fontana. Right off the 210 freeway, Sierra Avenue exit. You pull off, it's 2 right-hand turns, and boom, you're right there. Bam! You're right there at Rotolo Chevrolet. And here's what you're going to find. Every car or truck that you're looking for, especially those Silverados, at an unbelievable price. And here's the best part, customer service like you've never experienced before. That's what Mike Capozio and his team aim for every single day, and they hit it. That's how they've been the dealer of the year 13 years in a row. 13 years in a row. In fact, Rotolo Chevrolet is going to be out at our All-Star game coming up in July, so you get to see that as well. They're giving away some money along the way. So Rotolo Chevrolet is taking care of the community. They're taking care of you. They're taking care of customer service. It's transparent. It's upfront. It's courteous. It's exactly what you're looking for, and it's only at Rotolo Chevrolet. ROTOLO, RotoloChevy.com online, and please tell them that Travis sent you. So we do a couple of things on this show. We talk about sports and we talk about Taylor Swift. This is a combination of the two. The Cincinnati Reds are moving the time of their game at the end of this month. On June 30th, they're going to move it earlier in the day because of a Taylor Swift concert that will be in Cincinnati that same night, and they're worried about a traffic nightmare with all the Swifties coming in.
They'll be playing your Padres.
Yeah,
it's
playing the
Reds
Pods.
Padres. Yeah.
So the Reds are like, we'll get out of the way. We'll move our game time up so the Swifties can get in without too much traffic.
Yeah, this is not like the UCLA Rose Bowl, flea market, golf. Like you do everything at the same time.
Right.
You got to get. Isn't that crazy that the Major League Baseball? It's like, guys, hurry up with the game.
You wonder.
Taylor Swift is coming.
The
a little
traffic
bit later.
is insane though for it.
I'm sure it is, but you wonder. Okay, instead of it being the Cincinnati Reds, who are better, they got Ellie De La Cruz. I'm here for that. I want to see that guy. But what if it were the Yankees aren't moving their game time, right? The Dodgers aren't, or the Cubs. But like, what team is
Dodgers
the threshold?
wouldn't because like the traffic doesn't really affect the same area of the city, so that's a little bit different.
Okay.
Yeah.
But let's assume that everybody was equidistant from venues, right? Is like the Seattle Mariners the cutoff that we're just going to play our game.
Let me give you an example. Wasn't there? What happened with the Atlanta Hawks and it was like a Janet Jackson concert or something like that? So during the play-in tournament, the fact that they beat Miami, I want to say, something happened with the scheduling. And
were they supposed to use the same arena?
They're
supposed to use the same
Hawks
arena.
just weren't expected to make it that far in the playoffs.
Something like that.
Oh, so
and
they had
then
a conflict?
They had a conflict, so they had to move her concert. It was something along those lines. I think there's certain names that hey, that's in. You're going to have to find a way to work around it. Taylor Swift
and
is.
And this is different, too, because it's two different arenas. So the Reds and she's going to do it at the Bengal Stadium. So it's two different stadiums. It's not like
She's
it's like
football stadiums.
Right, exactly. But just so you guys know,
Selling out
this is
football
from
stadiums.
Fortune, and it also was predicted by Forbes even before it came out. But Taylor Swift's Eras Tour, this current tour, is set to generate $4.6 billion for local economies in the United States for the cities she goes into. It's insane.
What do I do with that information?
Because people will go for the whole weekend. They'll go spend money in local establishments.
There's nobody
parking.
else that would have that kind of impact on a city or be able to sell out. What did you say? She's doing 5 nights at SoFi?
5 nights at SoFi, multiple nights at I think MetLife. She had 3 nights. Most places she does 3 nights. Some places she does 2.
And there's certain markets who are good. San Diego doesn't have a venue to have her, so we're talking only
Petco.
No, not big enough.
She can't. She's not doing baseball stadiums. They're too small.
Not big enough. So you said what artists can do this?
Yeah, I was going to say.
I mentioned this to you a while back. There was a time, and listen, Jay-Z and Kanye, that was kind of as big as it got. There was a moment, at least, that's as big as it. They sold 3 nights in a row at Crypto. It was 3 nights, not 5.
It was 18,000 seat arena. Yeah.
Instead of the whatever she's getting.
What is how is the capacity at SoFi for a concert? What are they going to have it in? 50, 60? What's the number? Do you know?
The capacity
at SoFi for a concert.
Because they got to kind of wall off. It's got to be at one end.
Behind the stage.
Yeah.
I want to say it was 60 when I last checked, but that's also 65 times. So,
they could probably sell those seats behind where you can't see anything, and people would still buy.
People are still lining up
fans?
outside of the stadium to listen to it.
Yeah, I don't
sing.
get that
People are
at all.
tailgating Taylor Swift concerts.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I wonder if when they go to SoFi, it's going to be all Niner fans, Niner jerseys at the SoFi watching her play there.
That's awesome.
They seem comfortable there. You mentioned this earlier, Slee. Stan Kroenke, fresh off of another Major League sports title, this time the NBA championship. He's getting ready to do it all over again in San Diego. Midway Rising is the development. It's an arena project, 16,000-seat arena, thousands of housing units, a hotel, retail space, and an arena that could house an NBA or NHL team as soon as 2025. That's not like 2035 down the road. Like, whatever. That's 2 years from now.
I think that's very optimistic. I think the opportunity in San Diego is NHL. I really do. The Coyotes didn't get their team, or they didn't get their stadium, and there's a lot of question marks what they're going to do there.
They've never really worked in Phoenix. No one's ever really bought into that.
I don't know enough about it. I just know that they voted recently, tried to get that's 48 acres, 48 acres of land in this space, this area in San Diego. We talked about where the sports arena is. He can't own. He's just basically would build this thing out. And an owner, if he brought an NHL team, well, he's already got the Colorado Avalanche, so you can't own two teams in the same sport.
As a San Diegan, how would the NHL do in San Diego?
I think it would do really well.
Why?
I really do think it would do well. I think, listen, the only attention that you have there from a professional team is the San Diego Padres. So I think having another professional, you only have two professional teams in a market that has 3+ million as far as your DMA goes. I know this isn't the greatest comp. The Gulls have always done really, really well in San Diego. You add an NHL team, I think there's also this, you lost the Chargers, give us something else to cheer for. I think it would do well.
The two expansion teams that have come into the NHL the last couple of years, Seattle and Vegas, have
killing it.
Vegas just won the Cup last night, and they've been good every single year.
But the popularity of the franchises.
And then the Kraken showed up in Seattle, and they went to the playoffs in their first year. They're selling out every game. John, you worked in San Diego for a long time. How do you think that would go?
Yeah, totally disagree with Slee, and the main reason is no arena.
No, but we're talking that if Kroenke builds this brand new, 16,000-seat arena on the side of the sports, and he just bought it all up, and he's going to develop
John,
it.
where the sports arena is,
yeah.
and John knows how terrible the sports arena.
Yeah, that's like, okay, here's my favorite story about the sports arena. You guys ever seen the movie Almost Famous?
Sure.
Okay, so Almost Famous is a movie about a band, a mythical rock band called Stillwater that was around in the 70s. It was the story of Cameron Crowe growing up. And so they had to retrofit a bunch of old things like cars and clothes, and they had to recreate the 70s. They shot it at the San Diego Sports Arena. They didn't have to do anything. They didn't have to do any retrofit whatsoever. They just said, this place is a dump, and we're going to just shoot the movie, and no one will know it's not 1974.
He's right about that.
Do the Gulls play there right now?
Yeah.
So it still functions.
It has
sort of?
X amount of events a year. Yeah.
Like the circus?
So Kroenke's
now,
taken over.
If you're building an arena, now we're talking. And it's just a matter if you can get the corporation.
They're getting an MLS team, right?
Kroenke's taken over 48 acres where the sports arena is.
Yeah.
And 16,000-seat stadium is what they're proposing on there.
San Diego is a spectacular, as you know, Slee, a spectacular place to live. But you got to get the companies involved to sell the suites.
Sure.
The reason the Chargers left is that they couldn't get a stadium built and there were no suites. So if they can get those two hurdles cleared, it would probably work.
And look, San Diegans supported the Chargers. The Chargers would get fans and everything. The Padres, I know there are a lot of Padre fans, but until this year, Petco Park is empty unless the Dodgers or Yankees or Cubs are there.
Right, but it's unbelievable. Have you been there?
It's terrific. I've been dozens of times. It's a great spot, but the point I'm getting at is they did build a brand new ballpark. They do have a major league team, and that place is 2/3 empty most of the time.
So I think it's fair to say this, and this is part of San Diego. If the product's not good, no, they're probably not going to go out and spend too much money to go watch a product that's not good. If the product is good, they did sell out this year.
You wonder what the shelf life of the novelty is. Like, and Vegas, who knows, because they were great. Like, for instance, LAFC, right? They're an expansion team. They build a perfect little stadium. They have a really good team right out of the gate. They win the MLS Cup shortly after the inception of the team. So people are all in. But if you just kind of show up and you're mediocre to bad, how long does the novelty of that last before it's like, I don't want to go see the Kraken. I saw them once. They stink. I don't care.
It's weird. Well, you remember, Trav, when the Ducks came along in 1994?
Yeah.
The pond was new. It was a spectacular building. It sold out all the time, and the team was terrible.
Yep.
For 10 years.
Yep.
And they still do okay. So it depends. The big thing is, can you get suites involved? That's why the Chargers moved. They couldn't get a stadium, and they couldn't get suites, and they were generating in the bottom 5 in the NFL, and they left.
The Ducks are an interesting example because you're exactly right. And then after about that 10-year mark, they got good. And they won the Cup, and they kind of developed a whole bunch.
2007, they won the Cup, right?
Yeah, and they win the Cup, and all of a sudden, it's like, okay, they got fans. And because they kind of grabbed it. But if you don't get that moment,
I'll use as an example, when USC was bad, how is the Coliseum doing?
Not great, but SC had, 100 years of equity in the bank?
They do, but I think the point is that
they were in the 40s.
Yeah.
But I think the point is, at the end of the day, you got to be competitive. You got to have something to sell than just, it's not Cincinnati or Ohio or something like that.
Let's do a little Super Crosstalk.
ESPN AM 710 Los Angeles. KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
K256CX 99.1 FM Pasadena, Los Angeles.
It's the greatest segment in LA sports radio history.
Oh my God. When the shows come together for magic on the radio.
It will only grow stronger. Super Crosstalk.
Are we ready for Mason and Ireland to join Travis and Slee?
Super Crosstalk begins. Super Crosstalk presented by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger is all about.
It's time for Super Crosstalk.
All right, so I want to start here with you guys. Al and I were talking about this. We saw, obviously, Stan Kroenke out on the floor when the Nuggets won the title the other day.
Yes, I did. Yeah, for some reason, speaking into Lisa Salter's
Yeah,
ear
what was
the
that?
whole time.
What was that?
Maybe we need to...
Hello? Yes, Lisa?
I was waiting for her to put the mic right by her ear.
The director handled it brilliantly. He goes, what the hell is he doing? And just started shooting cutaways of players and stuff.
Weird.
So
Silent Stan, they call him. He was definitely silent the other night.
He doesn't say a whole lot.
No,
He's
he doesn't.
not public-facing very often.
Yep.
But he was receiving the Larry O'Brien Trophy. He did get the Lombardi Trophy a couple of years ago in the NFL. He did just win the Stanley Cup as the owner of the Colorado Avalanche.
Bam, bam, bam.
Bam, bam, bam. He's got a lacrosse team that I think is a championship-level team.
Mm-hmm.
He's got an esports team that I believe won a championship as well.
Wow.
He owns an MLS team. He owns an EPL team in Arsenal. And they're all either championship winners recently or very close to it. Is there any argument against him being the best owner in sports, or is this just an unbelievable confluence
Built a
of luck?
$6 billion stadium
That brought
Spends
everything.
money.
Olympics coming.
World Cup coming.
Yep.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Is there a case for somebody else?
You know what? I don't know if there is.
Bob
there?
Kraft, probably. He's personal problems aside, he's like super
But didn't
invested.
have multiple sports. Like Stan has multiple sports involved here. I don't think there's anybody who's an owner who's had multiple sports win championships in such close proximity.
LeBron is tied into that Fenway Sports Group that owns Liverpool and owns a bunch of other teams. I'd have to look at that's John Henry and those dudes. I think they're probably in there, but I don't know if any owner has ever gotten 3 championships within 2 years.
I was going to say it's in 3 different sports, and it's
built
ways.
differently.
Yeah.
Like the Rams were F them picks, right?
Yes,
Just
correct.
go for it, whatever it takes, get it done today, and let's see what happens. And the Nuggets are the literal exact opposite of that.
Slow build.
Yep.
Let the team mature. Let the team come together. Got nice players. Got nice pieces. Let them play.
And then he's put that thing. He's put his people. It reminds me a little bit of Dr. Buss, where hire really good people. And
Get the hell out of the way.
Let them go do their thing.
Yeah.
Does it remind
Just
you
like
of that a
Jerry
little
Jones.
Yeah, right.
Not so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Dr. Buss's philosophy from the get-go. John Black told me a great story when he was running PR that there was some big announcement that was coming up, and he thought, well, I don't want Dr. Buss to hear about this from the media. I'm going to reach out to him and let him know. And so it was something like when they were signing Shaq or when they were, making a big trade. And so he puts in a call to Dr. Buss, and he says, hey, I just wanted to give you a heads up that we're going to announce this publicly at 1 o'clock, but I didn't want you to be surprised by it. And Dr. Buss said to John, you never have to make this call again. And he goes, what do you mean? He goes, I appreciate you looping me in, but I hired you to handle this for me, and I don't need to know.
Really?
And John goes, that's when I knew I was working for the best owner out there because he gave me my corner.
His thing is his thing.
It's so unique.
Yeah.
And he would get involved when it absolutely was time to, like the Shaq Kobe thing. Like, we're going to go over here. We're going to do this.
Yeah.
But very, very rarely, and then, like you mentioned, Al, you've got the Jerry Joneses of the world, the Dan
In defense
Snyders
of
the
Jerry
world.
Jones, they won a playoff game when I was a kid. They did. I remember it.
You know what's going to happen too, right? And not wishing ill will on anybody, but once he's no longer the owner of the Cowboys,
right?
They're going to punch their ticket like that.
Well, but he'll just hand it down to
Steven, who I think is more capable.
I don't
is
know
he?
about that. I think he's more willing to kind of say, "You go do it." You have more expertise in this field than I do.
I'm with you.
So you hate dogs?
No,
He hates
I
them.
just
Dog
like,
hater.
I
Yeah.
just like people more.
Dog, you have no perspective on the love that
Yeah,
a
dog is a
dog
kid. I
has
love
for
the
its
dog.
owner
I
and
used to work
vice
with this
versa.
anchor at KCAL who like openly admitted that she liked dogs more than people.
I think a lot of people do.
And she would say, she goes, seriously, if there was a train speeding down the tracks and there was a dog and a person on the track, I would save the dog. And I went, really? She goes, especially if it was my dog.
Okay, that's interesting. So, how did the original conversation start?
It was.
It came out of nowhere. He
it a
just
fact or
said
cap?
I hate
he
dogs.
started the show.
Coming up, I hate dogs. That's
I
it.
hate
Let me
dogs,
tell you
and then
why
he
dogs
threw
are
out the
terrible.
phone number.
Here's my tease.
Believe it
Dogs
was a
suck.
fact.
877.
You had dogs growing up. Didn't you tell me you had a dog named Murphy?
Yes, we had a dog named Murphy.
Yeah.
The dog was awesome. Lived 15 years. Wonderful, wonderful
Beautiful.
dog. My mother would choose the dog over people. She's
Yeah.
on Team Mace
Yeah.
in this situation.
So, Mace, yesterday I was at the pet store buying dog food.
Yeah.
And Murphy, as I've told Mason, has gone through 4 different TV remotes. Now, after he eats the first
Maybe
one,
put him on a
it's
higher
on
shelf?
Lisa and I
I was
to,
gonna say.
play defense a little bit here. We're lazy, so we just kept laying around. He went through 4. So ever since he's been doing that, we go out to buy him toys that he can chew so he doesn't chew.
What type of dog is it?
It is a... I'll think of it in a second.
Okay.
I know what...
Cockapoo?
No, it's a doodle. It's some type of
Labradoodle?
doodle. Yeah,
Labradoodle.
Thank
There
you.
you go.
All right, so
Sounds like a dog lover
so
over there.
we go.
What else you want to know?
So Trav, we go to the store and it says Tough Toy, TUFF.
Okay.
Will last for years. Your dog, if you have a dog that likes to chew things, buy this Tough Toy. I bought it last night at 6. This was this morning at 9.
Wow.
The
Gone?
Tough Toy has already been
See
compromised.
ya, tough toy.
Yeah, he's already
went away, but
he's already ripped through the
Already
Tough
ripped
Toy.
through it. Yeah.
I'm taking it back.
So the premise of this
I
thing.
could, but I mean, I'm not that guy. He definitely.
Al will take it back for
I'll take
you.
it back. No problem.
Yeah, he ripped right through the Tough Toy.
So the premise was,
Yeah.
Mace,
Yes.
that
You went for the kill.
it was you
Yeah.
would.
So
If-
I sent this to Lisa.
What was it? The show
The
you
new
were
Tough
watching,
Toy
Emily?
lasted one day.
Yeah.
Emily, set up the premise of why I hate dogs, or at least that's what I'm being told now.
The show is called The Ultimatum,
Okay.
and it's like the queer version of The Ultimatum. So it's just women or women presenting people or non-binary people. And so the relationship was this one girl just did not want a dog in the bed. So that was the whole thing. Was like there was a big reason for a rift was the dog in the bed.
Yeah.
Which is
So,
okay. Which
yeah.
is fine.
No. 100% deal breaker for me.
See-
like Juan, when I first got with Juan, the first night, which by the way was the first day, the first night was we had this debate. We had this debate about dog in bed, dog not in bed. I said, well, listen, my dog sleeps in the bed. Period. End of story. Full stop.
Okay.
And Juan said, "You're the best thing that's ever happened to me. Let's bring the dog into the bed."
Okay, let's have an alternate reality here for a
Okay,
second.
alternate reality.
Where you and Juan meet, and you, for whatever reason that you have a dog, does not come up. And you guys
Right.
go out a few times, and you're like, I really, really like
Great
this guy.
chemistry.
Oh,
everything.
yeah.
And then all of a
Really
sudden,
clicks.
it clicks right away,
Yeah.
and you spend a lot of time together, and you realize there's an opportunity for a relationship here.
Yeah, this
that-
could work.
This could work. And then on date number 10, you realize, I don't like dogs at all. You're out at that point?
Out.
That's it?
Completely out.
By the way, normally I would accuse Mason of embellishment. This is not embellishment.
Okay, I believe you.
It's
Yeah.
no way.
I like dogs. Like, if we had a dog, great. But if somebody said to me, hey, listen, I fall in love with a woman, right?
Yeah.
And she says, I just don't like dogs, and I had a dog, and I'm picking her.
Yeah, no, I'm
He
part of the
said he'd
package.
get-
it's a package deal.
he
Me
said
and my
he
dog.
would
But
get
Trav,
rid
what
of
if
the
Susan
dog.
was super into dogs and that was part of her package?
Sure.
So you don't hate dogs.
No, you don't hate dogs. It's just you're saying
I would pick the person over the dog.
right.
Yeah,
and
I actually think that's somewhat normal.
And I think the dog is part of the package. Like, you either like me and the dog, or you don't like me and the dog.
You
can't like
agnostic.
one.
I can go either way.
Yeah, see, I don't hate dogs.
The good
like
thing
you.
is this entire show goes on a podcast after.
That's right.
And the quote we took from Travis was,
Yep.
I'd get rid of the dog. And we all just stopped and said, what does that mean, I'd get rid of the dog? And he never gave any further explanation.
The dog would no longer be a part of the Rogers family.
By the way,
how is he getting rid of the dog? We don't know.
Changing
Give it
subjects.
to Mason.
Yeah. I'll take. I'm
Mason
looking
would-
for a third
Mason
dog
would
right
take
now.
the dog. It's
Yeah.
not quite Jim Harbaugh saying he would take a kid, but it's Emily, I love your idea of making a closer out of Julio Urias.
It's a really interesting idea.
Yeah, especially if he continues to get hurt.
Did you hear that, Mace?
Yes.
So, and you said, Trav, probably correctly that he would never do it, but screw him, he's leaving anyway.
But
hardest part of any job is doing what your boss wants.
I understand that, but if he gets a knee and an ankle or something, I can't pay another hamstring pull or one of those things.
Right.
I'm not lowering the value because he's going to get paid.
Yeah,
somebody's going
he's
to pay
getting
him.
a Garrett Cole
big.
6-year, $200 million deal.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm guessing Rangers. But
Rangers, Padres, Angels, I think are the three that are
You
the
said
most likely.
Houston?
I think Houston's a possibility as well. But it kind of does fix both. They have options at starting pitching. They don't have as good of an option as Julio, but they
the
have
problem is
options.
the bullpen is literally on fire. It's so
awful.
bad.
But
it's Mason pointed out yesterday. It's the worst bullpen in 100 years.
Worst
the worst
bullpen ERA the Dodgers have ever had.
L.A. Dodger history. This is the worst one.
L.A. and Brooklyn. You can go back to like
Including
1901.
Brooklyn too.
Yeah, the second worst is 1958 Brooklyn Dodgers. So that's how bad the bullpen is. Now I'll say this, I think it's a waste to have Julio as your closer.
I agree.
I mean, he's your number one starter.
No,
if
he's
you
not.
go
Not
into
right
the
now, he's not.
well, at this moment he's injured, obviously.
But I'm not even talking like today. I'm talking this season.
You would not start him game one if he was healthy.
I would.
No, I'd start Kershaw.
I'd start Bobby Miller.
I would start Julio.
I would start
Julio.
I would start Julio.
Julio has had one of two games this season with almost no middle. He's either been brilliant or bad.
I've seen this happen once before, and it was with K-Rod when he came up on the Angels
Julio's
the year they won the
clutch.
World Series.
Pitched the eighth inning and wiped guys out.
And K-Rod was so effective because they hadn't seen him yet, and so he would come into games and they couldn't hit him.
You think that's what's going on with Julio?
I think that's what's going on with Bobby Miller.
Oh.
And I think, Bobby Miller's had 4 different starts, and 4 teams can't hit him. I think that
Good teams, too.
Yeah, I think that if you... I think Bobby Miller has to start a playoff game if you have a series.
He's one of your top 3 guys.
Yeah, he's one of your top 3, no question. Right
so we got him.
Yep.
We got Kershaw.
Yep.
We can start Gonsolin in the other game. And if Urias pitches in all 3 games, then that's a good use of Julio.
And by the way, Gonsolin is no fluke. Last night he was very, very good.
You know what's funny about him? Don't watch him pitch. Just watch what the results are.
Yeah.
Because if you watch him pitch, it feels like a high wire act the whole time.
Right.
That he doesn't throw real hard. It feels like guys.
They say his velocity's down.
It's gone down every season.
Yeah.
Like noticeably so every season.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, he doesn't give up a ton of runs, which is the only thing that matters. But you don't feel great throwing him out there the way you do with Miller, the way you do with Kershaw, and even Julio. Right now, he would be probably my second choice in a best of 7. He gets game 2. Still going Kershaw.
Kershaw's been unbelievable.
He's been the most consistent performer they've had all season long.
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea
Julio's been more clutch. I like Julio in those
Not
spots.
right now, but yes.
Well, let's see what he is when he comes back. And obviously, we've got an entire half of the season to evaluate this, see if Julio bounces back to
Push him back.
I think Dustin May, with his stuff, could be a good closer. You just can't count on him.
That's the problem.
He's one of these guys that you never. He's always.
And you're asking somebody with a strained whatever it is to come out of the bullpen every other day, which is a different physical dynamic than starting every 5 days.
And in a role that he hasn't done a ton. Julio pitched out of the bullpen in the biggest games of his career.
Won the World Series.
Right.
He was on the mound.
There's no, is this going to work? He's done it. Dustin May might work. Tony Gonsolin might work. You don't know.
And I'll just want Bobby Miller, small sample size. Looks fantastic, but small sample size.
All right, I'm going to make the case for why he may be the number 1 guy. I'd still do Kershaw first. It is small sample. The K-Rod comparison, I think, is a good one. He has a 100-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yep.
And he's got 3 other plus major league pitches. It's not like he's just going out. K-Rod had that wicked slider, just dust guys. Right. Slider, wiped guys out with it for years. Miller has that in his fastball, and he's got 3 other plus pitches. I don't think I need to see him.
And you
again.
say he sits at, what does he sit at?
The other thing about Miller is, and I was reading about this, I think it was Jack Harrison in the LA Times, who's a good baseball writer, said that after Miller's 3rd start, that they felt like his slider, he was giving away his slider.
Tipping it a little.
And so they changed the bend of the slider, did that in the middle of a season, and came back in his 4th start and nailed it. I mean, he's really smart. He's really savvy. He's well beyond his years. I think he's going to be great.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see him again. Have you ever played LACC?
Yes.
I'm going out there on Friday.
Are you playing?
I'm very anxious.
watching the
I'll be
Open.
very anxious to talk to you on Monday because going, as you know, because you've been to them before, going to professional golf tournaments is a haul.
It is.
They normally make you park a couple miles away from it. The shuttles are never running and on time. And by the time you get there, there's 20 other thousand people and you're like 12 deep. I finally gave up, but I'll be anxious to hear. I know Morales is out there today
he's
with
there
some of
now.
the interns.
He's there now.
He's going to be there tomorrow.
I think Tommy might be out there too.
Yeah, he's out
Do
there.
you have a
with
press
Lindsay
pass?
today. No, I'm just going.
Does
Gen
that
Pop.
not give you like special access to to stand in the front
No.
of the galley?
No, you're either outside the ropes or inside the ropes, and very few people can get inside the ropes.
I'm outside the ropes and going to be fighting for position with Susan.
My dad always used to be a marshal at these things.
Oh, that's
With the irony
awesome.
of that is Marshall's main job is to hold up signs telling
Correct.
people to be quiet.
Yeah,
Your dad was
my dad
loud.
never shut up. But
Yeah.
it was at the not the U.S. Open. What was it, Inverness in Toledo? Was
That would have been the U.S.
Would have been the
Open.
U.S.
Yeah.
Open that Hale Irwin maybe
Yeah.
won. My
Yeah.
dad was a marshal holding up the signs.
I want that.
Couldn't
job.
have been more
I'll
excited.
stand there. Quiet, please.
Yeah.
Quiet, please.
Apply.
You.
Apply online.
Stop talking.
The other thing, Trav, it's going to make every inferiority you have as a golfer rise to the surface.
I've already got all of those. That's
Yeah.
not the problem. I'm just going to keep my eyes open for an opportunity. You remember? Let me introduce myself.
Sophie and Ron.
I might be able to help.
By the way.
I might be able to help you there. Let's talk.
Let's talk. Super Crosstalk is brought to you by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out, that's what a hamburger's all